Good evening, and it is my honor and my privilege to be with you, especially those who will be watching us live. I hope and I pray this presentation will open all of us eyes, that we will see the truth and learn the truth, for only the truth will set us free. I believe the problem we have in America is we are so smart about everything. We're actually sending a mission right now to Mars. We have planned sometime next year we're going to send a lady on the moon, as we already did with Armstrong and others. But when it comes to Islam, we know nothing. As a matter of fact, if you speak the truth about Islam, you are already been judged by 99.9% of the American people to be Islamophobe, racist, whatever name they're going to give to you. I hope and I pray that this presentation tonight will open your eyes. It's going to be a long one. Feel free to stand up, walk around. If you sleep, I don't know, get some coffee, come back. It's not going to go anywhere. I'm going to be here for a long night, and I hope you can take some notes, because I believe the information I'm going to be sharing is important. And what's so good about it, it's also recorded right now, so you can always go on YouTube and watch it later. And when you listen to this material I'm going to be sharing with you, ask questions, take notes, examine, investigate. Maybe I'm lying, because after all, here in America we have two different stories. One by the Muslims and the liberals alike, and one by the educated people like myself. Well, the liberals will tell you everything you would love to hear about Islam. Literally, Islam is love, Islam is peace. And so many of the Muslims would deny that there is actually something is called Sharia. They mock the idea there is Sharia, as we're going to see in some of the videos we have in this presentation from people who live here in Minnesota. But as we continue with our study, I will prove to you everything I'm teaching did not come from some books I read by the Jews or the Christians, or written by some anti-Muslims, but all the material which we're going to be used here tonight, it will become directly from the sources of Sharia, which is the Quran, Allah's words, and the Hadith, Muhammad's words, obviously from which Muslims also learn from the Sunnah, which is how Muhammad lived his life. As you look at the screen with me, the name of our presentation, the name of our ministry is called The Straight Way of Grace Ministry. That name here comes from two verses. This verse, Quran chapter 1, verse 5, as Muslims pray to Allah, and they actually repeat this word a good 13 times every day to say, guide us to the straight way. We're going to talk a little bit about that later in our study to know what ways they're talking about. The answer of the Muslims comes from the Bible, in the book of John, chapter 14, verse 6, when Jesus said, I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. It is amazing that Muslims will tell you that they believe in Jesus. But the moment you teach him the truth about that one verse, no, that's not true. Why? Because if that verse is true, that means Jesus is teaching the truth, which means there is no other way for anybody to get to heaven except through Christ himself, which is obviously the true Christian belief, which we Christians believe in. This is my beloved wife. This is my son Caleb. Vic and I have been married now for 28 years. We met in Germany in 1990. We married in Egypt 1991, and we came to America after that. And I am blessed to have her as a wife. Without her, I will not be here right now, because most likely I'll be booking myself in other locations. I'll get confused between where should I go, where should not I go. And I've done this many times in the past. People call me, Brother Usama, can you come on that 21st? Sure, I'll be there. And another guy a few weeks later, can you come on the 21st? Absolutely, I'll be there. And then whoever gets smarter to call me earlier enough, I will be there. And the other one, sorry, I was overbooked. But anyway, she is my organizer. She used to travel with me. She no longer travels with me because she takes care of her mama, 92 years old, and she lives with us in our home in Missouri. Revealing the truth about Sharia, Islamic law, is the study, as I said already, of our program for tonight.
This troubled world is experiencing a clash of cultures and an ideological war that dates back over 1,400 years. The loyal followers of a violent and intolerant religion are once again on the march, seeking to bring the globe under the domination of Islam. The nations that have fallen prey to this ungodly faith are quite easy to recognize. Freedoms and rights enjoyed by most of us in the West are typically denied in Muslim countries. Women and homosexuals are oppressed or killed. Other faiths are banned or discriminated against. Certain foods are prohibited, and penalties for even simple crimes are cruel and severe. This way of regulating every aspect of life and government is simply known as Sharia. Muslims claim that Sharia, or Islamic law, and the freedoms and rights we enjoy from the U.S. Constitution are perfectly compatible. But is this true? Can Sharia and the U.S. Constitution coexist in America?
Can Sharia and the U.S. Constitution coexist in America? This is the question which I'll do my best in the next few hours to answer. And of course, if you have no idea what is Sharia or what is U.S. Constitution, you may answer, yeah, why not? After all, we got American Muslims or Muslims America who live in America who said so. Who said so? What is Sharia? You know, the problem in America, as I said earlier, we know about almost everything. We're the best in everything. But when it comes to Islam, we have no clue what Islam is. As a matter of fact, I go 220 years ago, 216 years ago to be exact maybe, a president in America, his name is Thomas Jefferson, faced some problem with the Muslims, the pirates. And he decided to learn about the Muslims. So he studied their books, the Quran, which we're going to be talking a lot about tonight. Result of his study, he decided to go ahead and go on war with the Muslim countries of Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, and Libya. Believe it or not, 5 years long wars. Today, we're helping the Muslims to become powerful militarily. Sadly, we're using no common sense or logic to empower them, not realizing that those whom we are empowering, someday, when the right time comes, they'll be using whatever weapon we give them for our own destruction. They will be killing us. Now, what is Sharia? There was an interview here in, I believe, South Dakota, if not North Dakota, one of the two, in a church where Muslims were there speaking in that church. They call this the dialogues or meet your Muslim neighbors or interfaith meetings or Islam meetings, whatever names, it's all different titles for the same things. That is, some Muslims go to a church and talk for a good hour, an hour and a half, and they have great time hugging and kissing on the cheeks, of course, and they call each other brothers and they sing the song Kumbaya, not realizing that the Christian in these liberal churches do not know anything about Islam, and the Muslims are really making shish kebab out of them. They are cooking them. They are lying to them. Now, in the end of these meetings, they used to open mic. They have a hot mic on the floor where people can walk to the mic and answer questions. They stopped doing that. Why? Because we go to these meetings, and after the Muslim imams or the Muslim leaders talk for an hour or so, we just go to the mic and talk for less than a minute, ask a question, and kiss all the works goodbye in no time whatsoever. So they decided, after they failed to continue to brainwash the liberals and the churches who do not know much about Islam or Christ, they decided, so you write your question on a piece of paper and you give it to them. And they would choose from it what they like to answer. So here is a question.
A couple of our audience members wanted to hear more about Sharia law, in particular to how it's regarded by Muslims living in the United States and its relation to North Dakota laws. Does anyone feel like can speak to that? Okay.
Very good question. If anybody in this room found Sharia law book, please bring it to me. I'm serious. I really want to see this book. Where is this Sharia law book? In Islam, we have Islamic rules, Islamic laws that every Muslim follows. Some do not. Some follow some of it. But there is nothing as Sharia laws book. There is a written book, and we as Muslims go and want to apply that book to our daily life in North Dakota or anywhere we live. Our scholars, the Islamic, the school of thought that I myself follow in Islam tells me that I have to follow the rules of the country that I live in. That's it.
Don't you love the answer? If anyone finds the Sharia law book, please bring it to me. And all the people laugh. Do you know that that gentleman have studied that book? which is the Sharia book. I'm not talking to a foreigner, somebody does not know what is the Reliance of the Traveler, Ahmad al-Salik. 1,200 pages. Translated to English, 1991, 10 years before September 11. And sadly, our government did not bother to read it. Like, the first thing I did after I translated my Quran accurately, I spent what? $14,000-15,000 to send a copy to every senator, to every congressman, to every governor, to all the important people in this country, literally, right and left. The High Supreme Justice got a copy. I mean, it was not about the money to put the book in an envelope and send it. It took me literally weeks to figure out the address for each and every one. We did not want to send it to some office. We want to send it to a for sure address that they will get it. And you'll be shocked. The response I got from our politicians in America. Some liberals send the book back to me. They tell me, we don't receive gifts from people out of our districts. Wow. Can you imagine if the Saudi king, King Fahd at the time, sent a Quran to any of these liberal legislators? Will they return the Quran back to Saudi Arabia? I challenge them to do that. No, they will kiss the hand and bow down to the Saudi king and take the Quran. Now, the Republican, on the other hand, they send me nice letters. I got the letters. I'm not making this up. Gold letters with the name of the government of Mississippi, the governor. We appreciate your gift of the Holy Quran. We will, what is the word? We will, what is the words he used? We will cherish it. We'll be honored to have it in our library. I said, read the book, stupid. I did not even call it Holy Quran. I call it the Generous Quran. You know why? Because the Arabic name for that book is the Generous Quran, not Holy Quran. It did not say Al-Quran al-Muqaddas. It said Al-Quran al-Kareem. In English, the Generous Quran. I said, you cannot call the Quran holy unless you physically punch a hole in every copy. And I found it would cost me more money to punch a hole in every copy. Therefore, I kept it in the right title, the Generous Quran. But that is a problem in America. We have the book. It is in English, 1,200 pages, and nobody bothered to read it. I believe, if you want to save America, every person who run for office as a Congress or the Senate, those who are making the laws, they should read that book. Because trust me, if Nancy Pelosi will read that book, she will never allow a Muslim to run in the Democrat Party. And she will never allow anybody to swear on the Quran to an office. You don't understand what I'm talking about until you get to the end of our study today. That book is the end of the existence of the United States of America Constitution, and our liberty and our freedom will be kissed goodbye just if you read that book alone. Now, he said, in Islam we have some rules, some laws. There is no Sharia law book, some rules and some laws. Excuse me, where these rules are written? In the air? You just memorize it as a baby? No, it's written in pages, and the pages in book. Therefore, we have Sharia book, Arabic or English. And then he lied again and he said, in his school of thoughts, excuse me, you know what is the word school of thoughts is? In his denomination. We got Baptist, Catholic, Presbyterian. In his school of thought, the Muslim believers believe that they follow the law of the countries they live in. I wonder, what is the name of that school of thought? Because I know there are 4 Sunni and 2 Shiite. And I know everything about the 4 Sunni and 2 Shiite. And guess what? Not one of them said you follow the law of an infidel. Man-made law written by some infidels, as we're going to see from the reading of our study. He's lying, and he's lying, and he's lying, and he finished wonderfully his answer that way. Now, the word Sharia is the word law. I never heard anybody in America mention the word Sharia except he or she followed that word by the word law. So you say what? Sharia law. Like when she asked the question, she said, can some of you explain to us the connection between Sharia law and our Constitution or North Dakota law? Sharia law? When you say Sharia law, you know what you're saying? La, which means, to me, that is a great evidence that you're living in la land and you have no clue what you're talking about. A funny commercial we see lately so much on TV about from your state here, Mike, the guy who made my pillow. And he have now sheets made up from Egyptian cotton, the bed sheets. And he said that cotton is grow between the Sahara Desert and the Nile. You know what the word Sahara is? The word desert. Between the desert, the Sahara. The word Sahara is a word that's obviously Mr. Michael does not know what the word Sahara means, and everybody says the Sahara Desert. No, it's a desert. It is a Sahara. It's the same word you can say as Sahara al-Kubra, the big desert, or the great desert. That's the name of it. But he said Sahara Desert. Every time I see the commercial, I laugh. And every time I see the commercial, I remember American people saying Sharia law. No, stop saying the word Sharia law. Just say Sharia. Or better say Islamic law, since we live in America and English is the language of this land. Okay? Islamic law. Now, what is Sharia? Listen carefully now. Listen carefully.
The term Sharia is the sacred law of Islam. It is used to refer both the Islamic system of law and the totality of the Islamic way of life.
The term Sharia is the way. How we live. How we're living every day in our life. It is all the secret laws about Islam. It is how Muslims live in their life, and the system life of the Muslim, the totality of everything about Muslim life, from before birth, from conception until death, as I'm going to share with you a little bit later. Nothing about a Muslim man or woman life except it's covered by Sharia. But when you listen to the Muslim in that dialogue, they make it like, well, there's not much here. Some follow, some do not follow, some follow half, some follow 3/4. You know, some people don't. It's it. No, nothing about a Muslim life except must be followed by Sharia. As a matter of fact, as we're going to see today, if you break any of these laws, most likely you'll be dead. The small and the big. Let's move on. Let's move on. Where Sharia comes from? 2 books. The first one, as I mentioned earlier, is the Quran. Al-Quran al-Kareem, the generous Quran. The second one is the Hadith. What is Hadith? The saying. Muhammad spoke, and Allah spoke. When Allah spoke, it is the word of Allah in the Quran. The chapters, the 114 chapters of the Quran. When Muhammad spoke, it's actually collected by many Muslim scholars. This one, for example, Sahih Bukhari, which is the correct hadith, the correct saying of Muhammad, which by Bukhari. There's another one is Sahih Muslim, and I use Sahih Bukhari and use Sahih Muslim. You know why? Because Muslim cannot argue with you. When you say Muhammad said, and I'm quoting Sahih Bukhari, that does not make it a weak hadith. Maybe Muhammad said it, maybe he did not say it. No, we know for sure Muhammad said it. As a matter of fact, the 6 volumes of Sahih Bukhari is this big. The Quran is this big. Literally almost 6 times bigger than the Quran. Muhammad said 6 times more words than Allah. And these 6 volumes of Sahih Bukhari or Sahih Muslim are less than 2% of what Muhammad said. In simple words, if you believe everything Muhammad said, Muhammad have to be a man who lived roughly around 1100, 1200 years. Because there is no way under the blue sky somebody can say all these words in 23 years claim to be a prophet. No way. But Bukhari, that guy here, and Sahih Muslim, another guy, they went through all these thousands and thousands and thousands of hadiths, and they collect less than 2%, where we know for sure that Muhammad said. When you read the word of Allah, when you read the words of Muhammad, you hear what? Do this, and do not do that. That is the laws of Islam. These are the source of Sharia. And Allah will tell you, if you obey these laws, here's the blessing. And if you disobey these laws, here's the curses. Here's the punishment. I'm going to give you some of these as we continue our study. Now, there's another gentleman here. His name is Nabil. I believe he's from Egypt. And throughout the dialogue, Muslim-Christian dialogue, he liked to stand up, grab the mic, and add some more information. So listen carefully. What else he added to the previous liar about Sharia?
But for the certain things that human beings need guidance, there are some rules, and they are so flexible, they can, use to apply to any place at any time, because things change during from ancient times until now.
There are some rules, and these rules, ladies and gentlemen, relax, are flexible. It can be applied to any, it can be applied to any, it can be applied in America. Just say it. Don't be afraid. These rules are flexible because things change. Wow. You see, it's true. In Muhammad days, they used to ride camels. And camels go roughly around 16, 17, maybe 18 miles an hour, okay? Today we have cars. It goes actually 220 miles an hour. Since Allah in His wisdom, the all-knowing, the all-knowing, with all the knowledge He has in His head, Allah knows that things are going to change. Therefore, He make His Sharia, His law, easy, flexible, which can fit even in America. Wow. Don't you love that? Now, by the way, when you listen to Muslims in America, it doesn't matter who are those who are speaking. If it is Ilhan Omar, Rashid Tlaib, but if Mustafa, what's her Mustafa? Something Mustafa. Virginia Mustafa. These people never quote a verse from the Quran. I'm not kidding you. I listened to them for 2-3 hours. And they never quote a verse from the Quran. They never say one of the saying of Muhammad. And if they quote something has been abrogated, cancelled, erased, deleted. Early verses which Allah changed His mind about. So, what is His evidence of that? No evidence. Now, let's learn about Sharia from the source of Sharia. Muslims, scholars' writings to learn about Sharia.
Sharia cannot be improved, reformed, or changed because it is based on the Quran and Sunnah, which Muslims believe is perfect, eternal, universal, and complete.
You cannot change Sharia. It is not flexible. It's hard. If you try to twist it, you break it. No flexibility whatsoever. You cannot reform. How many times you see on Fox News, Muslim reformers? Muslim reformers? Are you kidding me? Moderate Muslims. Moderate Muslims? Are you joking? You cannot reform Islam. Well, after all, you hear some liberals on TV who know nothing about Christianity. Well, Christianity has been reformed 500 years ago, remember? Martin Luther, he reformed Christianity. Excuse me, Martin Luther did not reform Christianity. Martin Luther reformed the church, which left Christianity. What did Martin Luther say? We're going to go through the Bibles, ladies and gentlemen, and all the verses we don't like, we just take out. Black it out and cut the pages out. No, he said, solo scripto, scripture alone. If it is in the Bible, Martin Luther is going to practice it. If it's not in the Bible, we're going to get rid of it. Why? Because the church left the Bible. The church left Christianity. And he is reforming the church back to the Word of God. How can you reform Sharia? What are you going to do? Get rid of the Quran? Get rid of Muhammad saying in the Hadith? That's the only way you can reform Sharia. Get rid of Islam so we can have brand new Islam. I don't know who's going to write the new books and the new laws of Islam. So we believe that they can reform. They are eternal. They are perfect. They are eternal. They are universal. And they are complete. We don't want to add anything to it or take anything away from it. That's what Muslims believe about their Sharia, their laws which come from the Quran and the Hadith. Now, listen to this.
In fact, most Muslim scholars in the world today would identify and say America has more principles that adhere to Sharia than in most Muslim majority countries.
This is Mr.
Jailani Hussain, Executive Director of CARE of Minnesota.
Yeah, Jailani Hussain. He actually traveled for a couple of years all over Minnesota to tell the people of Minnesota that I'm running away from him. On my birthday 5 years ago, we were on Chrisburg TV station 4 years ago, and he refused to show up. He did, go watch two videos. They're available online, they're available on our website, where Jailani Hussain refused to show up in the TV station. Because I was sitting there waiting for him. CARE told him, no, don't go there. Watch the video. Chrisburg will tell you himself. I don't have to tell you. Okay. Now, he said, in fact, I got 2 radio programs. One is called Islamophobia, Fact or Fiction. Yeah, that is Jailani Hussain. The other one is Islamophobia in the 2020 election, which we're playing it right now. In the first one, Islamophobia, Fact or Fiction, Mr. Jailani Hussain used the word in fact almost every sentence. And I challenged him, and I challenge him right now again, if he has access to this video, I would like to debate him about the facts which he shared in his lecture. If he can prove to me that any of these, literally I go 70, 80 times facts he shared in his lecture is fact, he will win the debate. And I guarantee you, every time Jailani Hussain used the word in fact, he was lying. I went through all of them. Not once he said, in fact, he was telling the truth. And that's my challenge. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play all his statements in fact and say, prove it. No, here is the truth from Allah's word or from Muhammad's word. You're lying. In fact, prove it. He cannot prove it. There are like 60 of them. It's a joke. In fact, most Muslim scholars, I said, give me a name of one. Most, at least you know one, don't you think? If I say, most, blah, 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 who are here, this and this, I say, most, give me one. In the world today, wait a minute, we don't have any scholars, Muslim scholars in the world today, they're all dead. You mean the moderate Muslims who wear suits and ties in America, is these the scholars? No. See, the Quran is not open for new suggestions or new interpretation or new application. It is already written. Muslim scholars already sealed everything. It's done. But he said, they would say that America has more principles that adhere to Sharia than in most Muslim majority countries. Can you give me one? One of these principles. If you give me one, he won the debate. You see how ridiculous my argument was him? I'm going to use his word to expose to the American people, to expose to the American people that he's lying. The man is propaganda, hogwash, Islam. Let's continue.
Sharia cannot be amended to conform to changing human values and standards. Rather, it is the absolute norm to which all human values and conduct must conform.
You know who is this guy? His name is Sheikh Yusuf al-Qaradawi. That man cannot come to America physically. It's like having Bin Laden alive walking in America. Or any of the Muslim jihadi we killed, you know, Ayman al-Zawahiri, or Mus'ab Zarqawi, or whatever, any of these names, okay? Or Qasim, the guy from Iran, which Mr. Trump killed him just recently. Yusuf al-Qaradawi, the Saudi king, King Fahd at the time, sent a Quran to any of these liberal legislators. Will they return the Quran back to Saudi Arabia? I challenge them to do that. No, they will kiss the hand and bow down to the Saudi king and take the Quran. Now, the Republican, on the other hand, they send me nice letters. Look, I got the letters. I'm not making this up. Gold letters with the name of the... who is the leader of the Muslim Brotherhood. He's in charge to spend the money he gets from the American. You know how many companies in America are practicing Sharia finance today? We got the list for you. If we have the time for it, Lord's willing, you'll have a heart attack. To know that almost all big banks, all big insurances, all big businesses in America are practicing Sharia finance today. And it's so amazing, some idiot Democrat will come to me and say, well, nobody will practice Sharia in America. I said, really? Probably some, as a matter of fact, even conservative. I was in Texas doing study on the infiltration of Islam in America, another study. I would love to come and do it with you in the future. And this man came to me and said, Brother Usama, Sharia will never be practiced in Texas. And I said, why? He opened his jacket like that. He actually had two big guns, 245, I believe, or so. And I said, oh, you mean, he said, not in our state. I said, do you have a wallet? He said, sure. I said, can you show me your wallet? He got his wallet out. And I said, show me the credit card you got in your wallet. I have no idea where I'm going with that, because I'm going to be proven wrong. And he got the card down. 1, 2, 3. The third or the fourth was Citibank. I said, is this Citibank card? He said, yeah. I said, do you use it? He said, yeah. I said, for how long? He said, 18 years? I said, you've been paying Sharia finance for the last 18 years. You have been practicing Sharia finance in America. So don't tell me Muslims are not going to practice Sharia in America. And he was shocked. All of us in this room today, as a matter of fact, even all the Republican of America and all the Democrat of America, because of their lack of knowledge, are helping Sheikh Yusuf al-Qaradawi to take over the world. We are paying the Muslim fund they need to take over the earth. And this will continue, because when I start talking about Sharia finance, a good 8-9 years ago, I got in my old presentation, which is still available, I can show it to you, maybe 35 organizations or banks, or like GIE, and Bank of America, Wachovia. There were like 35 or so of them. Today, over 100 in 8 years. I guarantee you, another 8 years, there will be every business in America. All right. So he said, we are not going to bend to you, you're going to bend to us. If some of you are driving and you like to drive fast, and the police stop you because you're going 60 over 40, you cannot tell the cop, well, I will change the number on the sign. We'll just make it 40, and I'll not be speeding. No, you will pay the ticket and the sign will stay 40. We're not going to change Sharia to appease and please the American people, but the American people must bend and bow down to Sharia. That is his words. Okay? Democracy and Sharia. I love it. How all the Democrats in this country, all the liberals in this country, start Nancy Pelosi and name all of them. They love the Muslims and they want the Muslim to run this country because they believe there's nothing wrong of having a Muslim in our country. But guess what?
Any system of man-made law is considered illicit under Islamic law, for whose adherence Allah already has provided the only law permitted. Sharia, Islam, and Western-style democracy can never coexist in harmony.
One of the two have to be practiced in America in the near future. Sharia or our constitution. And thank God now the Muslims are so happy to have the liberals to slowly cut off our constitution step by step. Someday they will be able to take over America. I believe deep in my heart that Muslims are using the Democrat as useful idiots to take over this country. And the Democrat thinking in their head, we use the million vote of the Muslims to have power in this country. If the Democrat ever have power in this country, this country will be ruled by the Muslims in the Democratic Party. I hope you got my point. Okay? So, you cannot mix Sharia and our laws in America together. And when Muslims will have the upper hand in America, they will be practicing Sharia and our laws will be put aside. Here's a Quran verse which they use in the Reliance of the Traveler, which by the way, a wrong verse. It's dumb for them to quote that verse to prove their point. Listen to the verse first.
And that the people of the gospel judge by what Allah has sent down in it. And whoever does not judge by what Allah has sent down, so those are the transgressors.
That's Quran chapter 5 verse 47. The Reliance of the Traveler, the people who wrote this book are quoting Quran 5:47 to prove to us that the people of the book, the Christian, must live by Sharia. Not knowing that when Allah said here that you judge by it and live by it, it here is the gospel. Not the Quran, not the word of Muhammad. So if you go back to the Quran, Quran chapter 5 verse 46, it talks about Moses and the Torah. And he said, the Jewish people must live and judge by the Torah. If not, they become infidels. The following verse, 547, it talks about Jesus and the gospel. And 546 and 547. And he said, if the Christian, the people of the gospel, the Christian, will not live by the gospel, they will become transgressors. The following verse, 548, Allah talk about He sent down the Quran on Muhammad. And then He said, if the Muslims will not practice what is in the Quran, they will be sinners. Whoa. So that verse here is not talking, 546, 547, it's not talking about the Quran, it's not talking about Sharia, it's talking about the gospel which was written by Jesus. Which, by the way, we don't believe in that. Jesus did not receive any word from God. Jesus did not receive any gospel from God because Jesus is the gospel. Jesus is the living word of God. Amen. Muslims don't understand that. Sovereignty. This comes to us from England. Listen to what the Muslim believers like Muhammad Hasham and others in England believe about the sovereignty of Allah.
Sovereignty in Islam is the prerogative of Almighty Allah alone. He is the absolute arbiter of values, and it is His will that determines good and evil, right and wrong.
Therefore, any written constitution, any written laws by man is not good. You mean, you know better than Allah? You really think you know better than Allah? Of course not. Allah have all the sovereignty, and He can tell you what is wrong and what is right, what is lawful, what is unlawful.
Sharia guides all aspects of Muslim life: politics, daily routines, foods, clothing, sports, family and religion obligations, financial dealings, punishments, military, and importantly, how to deal with non-Muslims, infidels.
That's just like you and me. When I say Sharia guides all aspects of Muslim life, it actually guides them in all these things. All these things, in every day. As you see on the screen. Sharia starts before the baby is born, and Sharia ends when the man of old age or whoever, man or woman, dies. So before a man make love to his female, I cannot say wife, because the word wife is not mentioned in the Quran. It's talking about just women. Before a man make love to his woman, there's a special prayer Muslims lift up to Allah. Now, When that baby grow up and get old and die, and now we're going to bury him, after we cover him with dirt, there's another prayer we pray over the body after you cover with dirt. And between the first prayer and the last prayer, everything about that Muslim soul is covered by Sharia. That's why I said earlier, the first man who said, well, some practice some of the laws of Sharia, some they don't, some cover half. That's a lie. Maybe in America, but not where I come from. And I'm going to give you enough examples to prove our point. When we go to church to pray, for example, when we go to church to pray, we just, if we took a shower Saturdays, we don't have to take another shower Sunday morning. You already took the shower last night before. You just change your clothes, brush your teeth, maybe some coffee, and head to the church. That's not how Muslims do it. You have to have wudu. Even if you take a shower, you have to have wudu. What is wudu? You wash your hand, left hand, and then the right hand 3 times. The water go from here to elbow. 3 times, from knee down, 3 times. You wash your ears, you wash your nose, you goggle 3 times. That's how you do it. Now, when you do that wudu, you're clean. Now you can pray. If you don't do that, it's not good. It's not like we Christians. You can go to church sweaty, okay? Coming from work, running, go out back, doesn't matter. I used to go to work on Wednesday, and I don't like to miss my prayer meeting in my home church in Florida, so I go to a church with paint clothes all over me. And Vicky said, can't you change your clothes? I said, honey, I didn't have time. Okay, sit in the back there. You smell like paint. Okay, I smell like paint, so what? Anyway, you see my idea? In Islam, you can't do that. Now, in your way to the mosque, you touch a lady. Physically touch a lady. Now you're unclean. You need to wash again. What if there is no water? No big deal. You get some good dirt. Good dirt. What is good dirt? That is dirt, loose dirt, no poopy or camel pee-pee, It's clean dirt, okay? And you rub your hand and you rub your face. Because it's tayammum. When you rub your hand, you rub your face. Now you're clean. Boys and girls, we learned from the Quran, the word of Allah, that women in Islam are dirtier than dirt. If you touch a woman, you need to get clean. There's no water. Just get some good dirt and rub your face and your hand with that dirt. And now you're ready to pray. Now you go to the mosque and you stand up perfect line. Notice on TV, I see always they show you the president of Syria, Assad. When he go to the mosque and he go like this and he look like this and look at this. Some people said, Usama, why he looking like this? He's afraid somebody going to shoot him? I said, no. He want to make sure he's in straight line. Today they have red line or blue line in the car, but in Muhammad days there was no lines. So you stand them in the mosque and look, make sure straight lines. You know why? If one of the people in the line is ahead of everybody or a little bit behind, and everybody, the prayer not of his, but all these people, their prayer will be kiss goodbye, like you pray for nothing. You waste a trip to the mosque. Allah will not count it down as a good prayer. So stand in a straight line. And now they have to face Mecca. Face Mecca. You see, Muslims believe that the earth is flat because Allah taught them the earth is flat. And if the earth is flat, you can stand up here right now in Minnesota and you face Mecca. Makes sense. But if the earth's sphere round, there is no way you can face Mecca from here. Because you know where's Mecca right now? Somewhere below your feet. If you look into the east, most likely you're praying to Mars or the moon, some other planet, but not Mecca. But anyway, stand in line. I'm just sharing with you the importance of Sharia, even in prayer. So you stand in line and you say, Allah, and they do the prayer, okay? Whatever they do. Now, some of the prayer you have to go all the way down and literally bend flat, head, hand, knees flat. Why are you doing that? Something happened. What happened? Listen carefully.
Narrated by Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, Allah does not accept prayer of any one of you if he does hadath, passes wind, till he performs the ablution anew.
So while you're bending down and naturally you pass gas, then your prayer is also stopped. But we have to ask 2 very important questions. Number 1, did it make a sound? If it make a sound, for sure you're unclean, go back and wash. Now, it did not make a sound. Well, praise Allah, it did not make a sound. Did it have a smell? So you wait for 2 seconds. If it have a smell, for sure you're unclean. You go back to the bathroom and wash and pray all over again. If it does not have smell, then Allah Akbar, everything is good. Continue to pray. This is how sincere. Can you tell me there is a Muslim in planet Earth does not practice that law? Unless they never prayed. Every Muslim, it is natural. When you bend down and you stand up and you go all the way flat, you're going to pass gas. When you pass gas, you have to ask this two important question. Did it have a sound? Did it have a smell? Don't tell me now in America, some practice some of these laws and some don't practice. No, they practice every law. And I'm just giving you a simple example, a ridiculous example. You think it's funny? It's not funny in Islam. Okay? It's not funny.
Traditional Muslims who understand the Quran and the Hadith believe that Sharia, Islamic law, expresses the highest and best goals for all societies on earth. It is the law of Allah and bound to be the best of all.
That's what sincere Muslims believe. Every law is given in the Quran. Every law is given by Muhammad in the Hadith. It is the best law for all humans. Even if they will try to trick you to make you believe that it's okay and it can be practiced in America easily, no problem whatsoever, they're not doing that because they're mean to you, because you're doing that for your own good. Remember when I was a baby and I was sick, and Mama would give me the medicine. And believe it or not, 50 years ago in Egypt, medicine does not taste like we have it today. Here, it tastes like strawberries, it tastes like mango, it tastes like orange. In Egypt, it did not taste like that at all. It was terrible medicine. And I have to chew on it. And I don't like it. And I spit and I threw up. And Mom said, please. And Mama cried because I'm sick. And she wanted me to take the medicine. And because of her tears, I ate this medicine. I chew on it, especially the capsule, the supplement. I chew it and I drink water. And I got it down to just make my mama happy. And she told me, it is good for you. It will make you better. That's exactly how some Muslims, sincere Muslims, believe that Sharia is good for us in America. It will make our life better. But is this true? Now, I'm going to prove this to you from a couple of videos. This first one here, I believe in Minnesota.
If you're living in the US, would you prefer to live under US law or Sharia law? Well, you'd think the answer was pretty obvious, but that's not what one filmmaker discovered on the streets of Minnesota.
Do you feel more comfortable living under American law, or do you feel more comfortable living under Sharia law?
Sharia law. I'm a Muslim. I prefer Sharia law.
You prefer Sharia law over American law?
Of course, yeah. Of course, yeah.
Would you prefer to live in America or prefer to live in Somalia?
For me, I think it's Somalia.
Would you rather live in America or live in Somalia?
I would rather live in Somalia.
You'd prefer to live in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
The vast majority of young people who I asked would rather live in Somalia or in Saudi Arabia as opposed to the United States. It blew me away. So there's something about this pool of immigrants that has become very, very problematic for our country and for Western countries in general.
The liberals of Oklahoma, state of Minnesota, prefer to live in Somalia. Please, send them back. Please. You know what? I don't want you to be rude to send these Muslims back. Be generous and give every family $1 million. That will make them 30, 40 millionaires in their own country. Trust me, if you spend $1 million in each Muslim family in Somalia who live in Minnesota right now, to send them back is much cheaper because it will cost you a lot more if you continue to live in America. It's going to be in the billions, not in the millions. Trust me, I know this for a fact. They prefer to live by Sharia, not the U.S. Constitution. They are not willing to assimilate with you. They will never assimilate with you. Send them back to Somalia. Unless we go ahead, let's change our constitution in America and practice Sharia, Islamic law, to make the Muslim Somali happy. I love this little boy who said he would really love to go to Saudi Arabia. I have some sad news for him. Saudi will never have you nor your family. Saudi Arabia, surplus country, they are not 28 trillion now in debt? With Corona, 30 trillion in debt? We have more debt than we can ever pay. And believe me, if you allow the Democrat to take this country for the next 4 years, you will go to the 40 trillion. You will not be able to pay the interest on the money you owe to the world. Not just the money, the interest. China will take over Minnesota. They will physically come here and collect taxes from you to pay your debt. Just give it to the Democrat. Trust me. One election. People always tell me, this election is very important. I said, no. Every election is very important because all it takes is one election. The Democrat win and there's no more election after that one. It will be the last election. If Biden is in the White House 2020, no more election in America. You got it? The Saudi Arabia will never have Muslim Somali to immigrate to Saudi. They are willing to spend millions of dollars to bring the Muslim Somali to America, the Muslim Nigerian to America, the Muslim Syrian to America, the Muslim Iraqi to America, the Muslim Pakistani, Afghanistan. They are willing to spend as much money as they can to get the Muslim world in America, but they themselves will not host any Muslim as refugees. Because they're smart. They're performing jihad with their money. Jihad in the Quran is two, as Allah stated literally 10 times. Those who migrated and performed jihad with their money and their lives for the sake of Allah. We think only few percentage of the Saudi are bad Muslims, the jihadi. And the rest of the Saudi are good. No, the rest of the Saudi are super rich. They don't have to kill themselves to perform jihad like bin Laden did, but they can spend their money to take over the West, as they are well doing right now in America. Hundreds of thousands of Muslim students come to this country every year. They're supposed to be here for 3 or 4 years, even 5 or 6 years. They get their doctorate degree. But somehow, miraculously, within the second, third years, they fall in love with your daughters, and they just change the paper from student visa to immigration visa. After all, love is so powerful. None of the hundreds of thousands of Muslim students who come to America ever left America. And who is sponsoring these students? Saudi. Why? Because they're performing jihad with their money. But anyway, from that video, we'll learn that the Muslim Somali who are here in America, whom we brought to America with our tax money. You know the difference between a Muslim Somali coming to America and Usama Dacdok coming to America? I paid for my flight. They don't. I did not take a dime from Uncle Sam the last 28 years. They take all the money from Uncle Sam. I never have health care. I never have food stamp. I never have housing allowances. I never have free education. I pay even for my schooling when I get my master's degree in New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary. Here I am, a foreigner in America, become a citizen obviously at the time, and I went to study to get my bachelor and my master's degree. And New Orleans Baptist did not offer me free schooling. I paid for it. My church did not support me when I was in school in New Orleans. Can you imagine that? But Muslims come to America from Somalia, their flight is paid by us, their food is paid by us, their health care paid by us, housing by us, education by us, everything by us. Even though we do all that for them, they prefer to live in Somalia. Once again, please send them back to Somalia. Stop abusing the Somali people to force them to come to America. Please. Tell this to your dumb governor. Let's go to New York. These are Muslim Somalis. They're not as smart as the Muslims of New York. Okay, here we go.
Well, we decided to launch a special Hannity investigation to find out if American Muslims think that Sharia law should supersede the U.S. Constitution. Earlier today, we sent out Fox News contributor David Webb to an Islamic cultural center in New York City. Now watch this closely.
Your thoughts, should Sharia law supersede the U.S. Constitution?
No, but I think the Sharia law is made by God, by Allah, and the Constitution is made by people. So it's not the same.
Do you believe that Sharia law should be above the U.S. Constitution?
Yes. Yes.
Should any religious law supersede the U.S. Constitution at any time? Any denomination?
Maybe in the future.
Should Sharia law be over the U.S. Constitution?
Yes, maybe.
That U.S. Constitution, which is made by people, and the Sharia law is made by Allah. So that is all the way above. That has to be definitely in the land, not for the America, for the whole world, would be above the
so
Sharia
that
law.
Should be above the U.S.
Definitely.
Constitution?
Yes.
Definitely, if I take that camera and I take that mic and I carry it to the rest of the 50 states of the United States of America, you will hear the same answer. Sharia is the law of Allah. Constitution of this dumb country of America is made by infidels. Allah's law is more important than any earthly law. Therefore, definitely. I love that guy in the middle. He said, maybe in the future. Yes, indeed. Not now. We don't have enough people to take over this country, but maybe in the future. I'm going to prove to you in a little bit as we continue our study that that's exactly what they're doing when they put Ilhan Omar to be a representative, and so is Rashida Tlaib, and so is 30. We got 30 more Muslims that are going to be elected for offices all over this country in the next 41 days. And the number will never shrink. Trust me. I don't believe Ilhan Omar will lose a seat, and if she loses the seat someday, she's going to lose it by another Muslim. Let's say Usama said it. Okay? Now, That is a problem. Muslims believe Allah's word is above man's word. Allah knows Allah is sovereign, and He knows what is right, what is good, better than you. Because of that, listen carefully.
Because of this ardent belief, devout and fundamental Muslims all over the world are in constant struggle, jihad, with their ruling governments to establish Islamic Sharia as the country's only rule by replacing modern secular democracy, man-made laws, with Sharia, Allah's law.
That's exactly why we have problem in Egypt. That's why we have problem in Libya. That's why we have problem in Syria. That's why we have problem in Iraq. That's why we have problem in Iraq and Afghanistan, every country. The 57 Muslim countries. If they're not practicing Sharia, they want Sharia. That's why you see these freedom fighters. McCain calls them freedom fighters, but in reality, they're Muslim jihadi. They want Sharia in Iraq. They want Sharia in Syria. They want Sharia in every Muslim country. And this struggle is for years. In my home country, Egypt, when Hassan al-Banna, about 105-6 years ago, started the Muslim Brotherhood. Why he started the Muslim Brotherhood? Because he loves the Egyptian constitution? No. Because he wanted to replace our constitution by Sharia. And he died. And then we have Sayyid Qutb. And he died. And it was a little bit later, we got the Salomoni family. They killed Sadat. Why? Because they want to end the peace we have with Israel, and they want to have Sharia. And behold, Muhammad Morsi came to power, and your president, Barack Hussein Obama, helped the Muslim Brotherhood of Egypt to establish their dream and their vision, which they've been fighting for over 98 years. And we got the Muslim Brotherhood to control Egypt. How many dumb Democrats in this country know what Obama did to Egypt? Nobody. They actually think he's God on earth. He's the savior of the world. They gave him the peace with Nobel Prize before he even do anything. He destroyed Libya. He destroyed Egypt. He was about to destroy Syria. And if you ask the Egyptian Christian, how do you like to lose Mubarak? They will tell you that is the worst thing ever happened to us. Ask the Iraqi Christian, how do you like to get rid of Saddam Hussein? They will tell you that is the worst thing ever happened to us. And if you ask the Syrian, how do you like to get rid of Bashar al-Assad? Say, leave the man alone. I like Trump because he don't want to remove that man from power because we're not going to fix the world. And the problem is we're not fixing the world to bring democracy to the Muslim world. We're fixing the world to give the Muslim Brotherhood, the jihadi, their countries. And someday they will be united and they will wipe not only Israel from the face of the earth, they will wipe America from the face of the earth. Oh, come on. They will not be able to hurt us. They're far away there and we're here. You're dumb. If you believe in that, you're dumb. There are plenty of Muslims right now in America. If we took 1% of them to start fire, physical fire in America, America will be burned twice in 5 minutes. I've been saying that for 10 years and nobody will listen to me. If you say Black Lives Matter is a movement, they're nothing. They're little babies. You go and say, pam, 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 and trust me, all the Black Lives Matters run and hide. When the Muslim jihad, they take over this country, and they will go on riot, not 150, 200, there will be 10,000 in any city. Like you can see them today in London. And you go pop, 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 they get their guns out and pop, pop, pop. They don't hide. They don't run. Some of them say, please shoot me. Do Allah a favor and shoot me. You know why? He have a vest, bomb in his chest. When you shoot him, he go, and another 400, 500 people around him dead. They will go inside the church and shoot me if you can. I dare you to shoot me. And you shoot them, everyone in the church is dead. That's the difference between little boys and girls, the 18, 20 years old, who let mama still fix the milk for them with the cereal in the morning, Black Lives Matter movements, and real Muslim jihadi. They love death more than we love life. Sharia is a problem. And the Muslim world are forcing Sharia on the Muslims in the Middle East, while here in America, and the Muslims are rejecting it. You know why we removed Muhammad Morsi from power in Egypt after 1 year? Because the Muslim of Egypt said, etch not. And they did not say etch like heaven, it's the other word. We don't want Sharia in Egypt. While the Muslims of Egypt rejected Sharia, the dumb Democrat in America loves Sharia. Somebody help me out.
Each and every law in the Sharia can be traced back to the Quran and Sunnah. Once a person buys into the Quran and the Sunnah, the Sharia is just a step away.
They asked the Christians in Europe. Not the Christian people, no. The Christian ministers. These are the pastors and the priests. What do you think of the Bible? 95% of the leaders of the church in Europe said, it's a book. It had errors. 5%, only 5% said it is the Word of God. No error whatsoever. It's a perfect Word of God. Now ask Muslims in planet Earth. Any Muslim. What do you think of the Quran? You know what they say? It is the perfect Word of Allah. Have you read it? No. How do you know? Well, believe it. Some of them will defend the Quran with their life without having a clue what's written in the book. They never read a chapter in the book. And if you can convince the Muslims that Sharia comes directly from the Quran, trust me, the whole Muslim world will bow down to Sharia. The reason the Egyptians rejected Sharia because they're ignorant of the Quran.
Muslims claim that they are to abide by the laws of the land, but if that is really the case, why are CARE leaders so upset when states vote or declare that they will not allow foreign rules of law, like Sharia, to coexist in their courts? Some liberal politicians are also advocating for Sharia.
As a fact, I got enough evidence to share with you. Our good Democrats in this country love to have Sharia, and I'm going to prove it to you tonight. But let's talk about CARE. CARE is the Council on American-Islamic Relations. These are Muslim jihadi. They're Muslim Brotherhood jihadi. They're the same people who tried to destroy my country, Egypt, a good 4 or 5 years ago. And until today, they still give Mr. Sisi hard time every day. You know what the Democrats are doing to Trump in America? It is exactly what the Muslim Brotherhood are doing to our president in Egypt, Sisi. They're making his life literally hell on earth. Trump have it easier. They're trying to destroy Egypt so they can take hold of the government of Egypt once again. Now, CARE, the true Muslim believers, the jihadi, the brotherhood in America, if you invite them to come to speak to you here, they will tell you, we love America. We love the Constitution of America. If any of you do not like America, get out of here. If you want to have Sharia, go to Saudi Arabia. Go to somewhere else. We don't want you in America. Wow. Can you say that? Yes, indeed. Oh, man, I thought you guys are radical. No, we're moderate Muslims. Can't you see the tie? Are you dumb? Can't you see my jacket? Oh, I'm sorry. So you're a moderate Muslim. You're a Muslim reformer. Yeah. And you don't want to have Sharia in America. Of course we don't want to have Sharia in America. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Man, I heard Usama said CARE are radicals, they're extremists, they're Muslim Brotherhood. Whew. Well, I'm glad to have you here in America. Would you please sign up here this petition? What is this petition? The petition said, we will not ever allow Sharia to be practiced in the state of Minnesota. It's not again! Why not? Not heaven, the other word. They will never sign that paper. Why? Because they want to have Sharia in America. But not now. Maybe in the future. Wow. Maybe in the future. Let me prove to you my point. Let me talk about CARE yesterday so you can see CARE tomorrow. 2010, 10 years ago, that is in Oklahoma.
A federal judge in Oklahoma on Monday barred the implementation of a ballot initiative passed by 70% of voters in Oklahoma that would have forbidden state courts from considering Sharia law in their decisions.
I was in Oklahoma, spoke with Brandon House the same week, actually 2 weeks later after the vote. And the people of Oklahoma were so happy, and I mentioned Sharia. We got a big crowd of, 1,100 people, and they all clap hands. Oh, yeah, Brother Usama, we stopped Sharia in Oklahoma. And I said, you make me sick. People look at me like I'm nuts. I said, 70% of the people of Oklahoma said no for Sharia. You know what that means? Let's make the numbers math here. That means 30% of the dumb Democrat of Oklahoma said yes for Sharia. Here's evidence, America. I'm not making it up. Go to the vote, examine the date. The liberals of Oklahoma love to have Sharia because in reality, that less than 0.5% of the people who live in Oklahoma are Muslims. Where does the other 29.5% come from? The Democrat. And if you say no to the Muslim to practice their own law, you must be a racist. You must be a bigot. You must be Islamophobe or whatever names they give on you. They bought on you or give to you. So what happened? Members of CARE, the Council in America, Islamic Relation CARE, 6 or 7 of them I believe, went and talked to Sister Vicky. And Sister Vicky, the liberal judge appointed by Mr. Bill Clinton, does not want to upset the Muslims of Oklahoma actually said, forget about the 70% vote. I will throw that vote in the garbage can and you can have Sharia in the state of Oklahoma. And that's exactly what happened in Oklahoma. But if it was not for CARE, Oklahoma would have applied this law. After all, 70% said no. That's one state. Let's move to another case. Of course, that is a case of, they come up with the tricks. How to say that we are not going to allow because you here's the catch here, you specifically rejected Islamic law. Excuse me. We do not have Japanese law or Japanese people in Oklahoma who would like to practice Japanese law. We do not have Chinese people in Oklahoma who would like to practice Chinese law. You never heard, you must eat Chinese 3 meals a day or 1 meal a day. No. When the Chinese come up with some laws, we reject it too. No, because here's the catch. Because you specifically mention Islam, therefore it is unconstitutional. That vote was wrong. Wow. Now, let's go to this big business.
In June of 2011, a Bay Area Muslim woman sued Abercrombie & Fitch, claiming that the clothing retailer fired her when she refused to remove her religious headscarf while working at a San Mateo store. Hani Khan, age 20, sued after the Federal Equal Employment Opportunity Commission determined that the chain had wrongfully fired her. Settlement talks failed to resolve the dispute. Khan was fired in 2010 from Abercrombie's Hollister Company store in the Hillsdale Mall in San Mateo for refusing to remove her hijab or headscarf, according to the suit her attorneys filed in federal court in San Francisco.
Well, it's just a rich company. They got all the money. Once again, the Council on America-Islamic Relations, CARE, helped Hani, sweetheart here, to make $2.5 million out of that company. How dare they to tell her she cannot wear the hijab in her work? By the way, when she went to apply for the job, she had beautiful hairstyle, makeup, and everything. She tricked them. The system in their business is you don't wear the hijab, you have to be dressed in that system, whatever they have there. If I am the owner of this company, or if I am in the management of this company, I will tell her not even 1 penny, and we're not going to we're not going to be taken to court. These are rules, these are laws. If you don't like it, get out of here. Open the door. Get out of here. And I will fight it to the last penny I got. No, they gave her the $2.5 million to make her happy. Don't make some Muslim upset, because after all, they actually get their money from Wall Street. And who controls the money in Wall Street? The Muslims. Through what? Islam finance. It's very complicated. I don't think we as Americans will understand how complicated the story about businesses in America. Now we move from just a business, some rich company, who care, $2.5 million like pennies in their pocket, to the state of Alabama. Let's see what CARE did in the state of Alabama.
After its decision to ban women from wearing a hijab for driver's license photos triggered a backlash among American Muslims, the state of Alabama backtracked on the measure Friday, February 20th. Muslim women had appealed to Alabama state officials to reconsider the ban in January, while the Washington-based Council on American Islamic Relations, or CARE, issued an alert against the measure.
You know how organized the Muslims in America? There is not a church or a political party in this country have even 5%, 60% of how. All what they care, they have emails of all the Muslims of America. They send an email in 5 minutes. Every Muslim in America knows what they need to do. That's exactly what will happen in the future when they launch their jihad in America. Like Black Lives Matter, but time 100. They will have burning cars all over America, in the same hour, the same minute. Before the FBI figure out something, they see smoke rising, like they did in France. Do you know how many times Muslims attack the French, and the French will turn the eye to the other side? And one time they actually burned over 500 cars in France, just recently, a few years ago. And we never heard about it. Why? Because they don't want you to get worried about Muslims in America. And they will tell you, Muslims in France are different than Muslims in America. Because, see, in France, they do not assimilate. In America, they do assimilate. Really? Allah but Linda Sarsour said 2 years ago, we will never assimilate with the Americans. I said, thank you so much. That's exactly what I've been trying to teach the American people for a good 24 years, and nobody will listen to me. They will never assimilate with us. It's the same problem. It is Muslims practice Sharia. So they told the people who are in charge of Alabama, please stop this ridiculous attack on the Muslims. These Muslim ladies are good drivers. They pass the test. They like to wear the hijab. And the state of Alabama says, we're sorry. We'll apologize about that. It's okay. You can come and have your picture ID with the hijab. And you think it stopped in Alabama. Don't you think so? No. When Muslims win a battle in a state, it goes to the entire 50 states of the United States of America. Watch this video with me.
New at 6 tonight, the Division of Motor Vehicles will no longer require Muslims, Sikhs and others to remove their religious head coverings to get their driver's license photos taken. This comes after complaints that the DMV was violating their religious rights.
There is now an agreement between state and federal authorities on this matter. CBS 4 investigator Rick Salinger has the new information right now from a DMV office in Denver. Rick?
Jim, the regulations were written by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, but interpreted by the Division of Motor Vehicles. Now there is agreement that perhaps they had been interpreting that too strictly. In the Sikh religion, removal of the turban in public is forbidden, but the Colorado Division of Motor Vehicles started requiring that for driver's license photos.
In the Sikh religion, moving this is forbidden. That's good. Do you know that in the Sikh religion, you do not drive a car? I would challenge you, if you are a Sikh believer, show me what chapter, what verse you read in your holy books which said you drive a car. See, we need to be a little bit smarter. Turn the table around. Yes, you want to drive a car. Guess what? Driving a car in America, ladies and gentlemen, it is not right. It's a privilege. What do you mean privilege, Brother Usama? You need to know how to drive a car. If you're a rich guy and you can buy expensive car and sit in it and you don't know how to drive it, I will not allow you to do that. By the way, you cannot be drunk. You cannot be under the influence of drugs. You have no right to drive a car. When you get old and you can't see good, with all respect to the older mama and papa here, you have to stop driving. Brother Usama, it's my right. I've been driving for 90 years. No more. Because it's not good for you. It's not good for others. You may hurt yourself and you may hurt others. It is a privilege, not a right. One of the things you have to do to be able to drive a car in America is to have a picture ID. We call it a driver license, picture ID. You know how big the picture is there? The picture on your picture ID is 5 inches by 5 inches. No. 4 inches by 4 inches. No, 2 inches. No, it's a small thing. That big. I want to put in it as much information as I can so I know it is you, not your cousin picture or somebody else's picture. Make sense? Privilege? Not right. Follow the rules. You don't go fast. You keep going fast. We'll give you 1 ticket, 2nd ticket, 3rd ticket. We take your driver license away from you, which means you can no longer drive the car. Well, you grab your cousin car or your sister car who look like you and you keep driving. No, you can't do that. That's why it's very important to have a picture ID. So the Sikhs do not like these rules. That's fine, sweethearts. In America, you will not be able to drive without the full picture. You can ride your camels as it used to be years ago where you come from. Thank you. Let's move on to the Muslims. Let's move on to the Muslims. By the way, let's start with the Sikh and move to the Muslims. The Sikh were used by the Muslims. As a Democrat in America will be used as useful idiot by the Muslims. Listen. Here we go.
I immediately contacted the Department of Justice to let them know that this incident had just happened at the Department of Motor Vehicles.
The Sikhs were not the only ones to complain. Amatullah Malki, a Muslim, was asked to put her headscarf behind her ears in order to have her learner's permit photo taken.
I came home and I was feeling really bad. Why would they make me do that? Why are they trying to take pieces away from me? This is my identity.
Exactly, sweetheart. It is your identity and we want to see it on the picture. And we're not going to take your ears out of your head. Trust me. After we take the pictures, check your ears. They're still there. You know how naive we are as Americans to allow these people to manipulate us? and do it their ways, not the Constitution ways. Taking her identity by taking a picture and show her ears in the picture. Do you think that's a real hijab? You'd be naive to believe that's a real hijab. I will share with you the real hijab if we get to it tonight. If you be patient with me, they're not going to kick us out of here. If one person stays with me tonight, I will keep going. Because I need to record it for the rest of the people, for the hundreds of the thousands who are going to be watching this online. Okay? So, we'll skip the rest of the video. Her dad is going to complain, and everybody is not going to. Here's the picture of Florida. Oh, Brother Usama, this was taken before September 11. Yes, indeed. This was taken before September 11. Here's a picture of New Jersey. Huh? What is that? Oh, that's a lady by the name Fatma. As a matter of fact, the sex is female, so we know for sure she's a woman. And the color of the eyes is hidden. So I asked my wife, honey, what is the color hidden? She said, what do you mean? I said, green, red, blue, brown, hidden. She said, hidden means you can't see it. I said, you mean that's not a color? She said, no. It's okay. The color is hidden of the eye. Okay, move on. This is after September 11. This is in the neighborhood of Toronto. It is in Canada. As a matter of fact, this picture was taken in 2009, so it's 8 years after September 11. Okay? And trust me, if it is in Canada today, it is coming to a city near you in the near future. Less than a year from now, you'll have Muslim ladies in America dressed like that. And by the way, they will tell you, they're more safer than most old people who drive cars in Florida. And it's true, in Florida, if you're driving behind somebody old, and it's not because they turn the signal right, that means they're going to turn right. Sometimes they turn left. Sometimes they go too fast, sometimes they go too slow. But guess what? That woman is the best driver. She will not make a mistake, you cannot catch her with a ticket. But guess what? I have a bigger problem than that. What is the problem? Watch this video.
Authorities in the United Arab Emirates are investigating the brutal killing of an American school teacher in an Abu Dhabi shopping mall. Police say the woman was stabbed inside a public restroom by a suspect wearing a traditional black robe and Muslim veil. Now, CNN's Becky Anderson joins us live from Abu Dhabi. Hi there, Becky. There's video of the attacker, but that still doesn't give away much detail as to who it is, even basic questions about whether it's a man or a woman.
Correct, absolutely. What I'm about to show you, Robin, is CCTV footage of a person police here in Abu Dhabi say is the suspect in the stabbing of an American school teacher in a restroom in what is a high-end mall in the capital, just miles from where we are here. Now, these images...
دخول المشتبه بها به إلى المركز التجاري. The entering of the suspect, him or her, we do not know, into the mall in Dubai. We do not know. But watch carefully. I'm telling you, these things went very well. They captured the person, which obviously you find it is him, not her. But there's so much corruption there, it will blow your mind. For example,
released in the past couple of hours or so by the Ministry of Information here are of the suspect entering the facility from an underground car park sometime before the incident. The figures you see fully covered, wearing an abaya, black gloves and a face cover, or niqab as it's known locally. Now, next scene, coming out of this elevator and...
Notice here, he is talking to the cop. Notice there's going to be a cut. Imagine with me, a guy come to you with the voice of a man talking with you. Don't you think this is something you should, like a red flag or something? Hey, why are you dressed like a lady in a hijab, man? No, they cut it off, they make it short, so you will not know that something wrong is going on. The police at the mall knows about the guy.
Talking, it appears, to a security guard to the right of your screens. And this is what happens next. It moves into the restrooms, which are seen here on your right. And if just underneath the words that you've got on our screen here is a time check, it's 90 seconds later that this happens. She emerges, or he emerges, running to the elevator, followed by others, before another clip shows the person leaving the mall through the same underground parking lot doors. Now, before I show you the scene inside the restroom, I advise you these next images are very disturbing. because it was here that a 47-year-old American mother of 11-year-old twins was stabbed, apparently with what looks like a kitchen knife.
That Muslim godly man dressed in a full hijab, the real hijab, and he killed the American teacher who taught English in the school there, the mother of the twin, 11 years old. How many of you have heard the story on the news in America? Notice that CNN. How many times do you repeat it on CNN? One time. How many times did you hear about O.J. Simpson case? Was it a long year, 2 years? You know what I said, literally, in my mind, because I get sick and tired of it, I said, somebody killed that guy, innocent or guilty, so we can move out of this subject. Just get rid of it. I don't care if he's innocent, just sacrifice him so we can move on with our life. Because even Fox News 24, it was O.J. Simpson. And after all that, he still got away with it. And we know he is the one who killed him. You see how much, the justice in America. And no justice, no peace. Where are the white folks? No. You just got everything backwards in this country. Anyway, all Sharia.
All Sharia is based upon dividing all actions into forbidden, haram, and permitted, halal.
There is nothing in Islam unless you go under this two categories. Right now we're selling halal coffee in America. You know what halal coffee is? It's a joke. But in reality, go online, check it on your phone right now, look for halal coffee. You'll find you can buy halal coffee in America. I thought halal, lawful, is only about things you kill, have blood in it. No, in America we have halal coffee. In America we will have halal all objects. As it is right now in New Zealand. You don't buy any object in New Zealand. If it is food, if it is clothes, if it is furniture, if anything, unless have the stamp halal. And by doing so, you give 5% of the profit to the Muslim in the country of New Zealand. And by the way, today in New Zealand, there's no pork meat. How many Muslims live in New Zealand? 20%? 10%? 5%? Less than 2%. But Muslims are, because they got a very liberal country, can control the entire country. You don't need to have 50% Muslims in America or 51% to control this country. 2% Muslims, which we already have in America, plus liberal government. The Muslim will control your life even here in America.
The most complete, concise source book for Sharia, Islamic law, is Umdat al-Salik, or Reliance of the Traveler, compiled by Ahmad ibn Nikib al-Misri. This classic manual of Islamic sacred law was translated into English by Nahamim Keller in 1991. It covers legalities and theology. The Sharia is organized in an outline form and is referenced by divisions, sections, and subsections.
The book available. Feel free to come look it up after we finish in our study. I'm going to share with you some samples. It's 1,200 pages. If you're interested to talk about 1,200 pages, we can be here for the next 2 years to cover it. So we're going to do the best we can here to give you some samples of this Sharia. Example of rules from Sharia is 08.0. If you look at the right corner. Shukran. Laugh, Habib. Laugh. If you go in the right corner, you're going to see numbers in the pages. In the left corner, you're going to see another number from the pages. That's how we're going to look at these. I'm not making this up. The book is available. Feel free to check it out afterwards. Here we go.
Apostasy from Islam. Leaving Islam is the ugliest form of unbelief and the worst. When a person who has reached puberty and is sane voluntarily apostates from Islam, he deserves to be killed.
I thought Muslims have the right to build mosques in Minnesota and to build mosques in America because they are practicing First Amendment, freedom of religion. You know how dumb we are? In Islam, I'm sorry?
Very dumb.
Very dumb. In Islam, you don't leave Islam. If you leave Islam, we will kill you. Who? The papa, the mama, the grandpa, the grandma, the members of the mosque, the imam of the mosque. This is the law. There is no freedom of religion in Islam. They're using our freedom to end our freedom in America. And by the way, the same book which says you kill a Muslim of leaving Islam, Sharia, the Quran, and the Hadith, as I'm going to share with you, I'm not making this up. I'm going to open the Quran, I'm going to open the saying of Muhammad to prove my point. The same book who teach kill your own if they leave Islam. It also teach when you become strong in the land, kill the infidels if they will not submit to Islam. Same book, same law. Kill the children of yours if they leave Islam, and kill the children of the neighbor infidels if they will not accept Islam. So today, we will allow Muslims to practice the first half. Tomorrow, they'll practice the second half on your grandchildren in this country. Let me give you the proof. Maybe I'm making this up. Quran 6:151. By the way, Quran 17:33. Quran 25:16. The same verse. Allah repeated the Quran 3 times. Maybe because the verse is important. Here's the word of Allah.
And do not kill the soul which Allah forbids, except with a just cause.
You can ask any scholar of your choice. Ibn Kathir, Tabari, Qurtubi, Jalalain. They will tell you, the Muslim soul is the soul which is forbidden to be killed. Otherwise, you can kill any other soul. A Jewish soul, a Christian soul, as we're going to see, is lawful to be killed. But you can only kill the Muslim soul in 3 cases. That is a just cause to kill a Muslim. Are you ready? Here we go. Sharia, learn. The blood of the Muslim cannot be shed except in 3 cases. Murder, adultery, and apostating from Islam. Leaving Islam is punishable in Islam by death. Sahih Muslim, Sahih Bukhari, as we see in Bukhari, volume 9, hadith number 17. I'm not making this up. I'm just trying to educate you about Islam. There are 2 sources of Sharia, one more time. The Quran, Allah's word, and we read. It says, you don't kill the soul except for a just cause. The second source of Sharia is Muhammad saying the hadith. And here Muhammad is telling us, when you kill a Muslim. Honor killing is not a joke. Honor killing is not a culture. Honor killing is Sharia, Islamic law, which has been practiced in America for years. We have cases in America. Even when Fox News talked about Sharia and honor killing, they did 2 programs, 2 4-hour programs. And in the last 5 minutes, what do we learn? Yes, there is honor killing in the radical Muslims, and that is culture, have nothing to do with Islam. You know why? Because they're stupid. Who? Fox News. Every time Fox News talk about Islam, it always ends for the good of the Muslims. Always. I challenge you, show me one show when somebody says something right about Islam and people accept it to be Islam. Like the movie Infidel. I asked Brother Gary, he saw the movie Infidel. He loved the movie Infidel. I said, did they quote the Quran? He said, no. Did they quote the saying of Muhammad in the Hadith? He said, no. I said, the movie. Because these are just radicals. They have nothing to do with Islam. These are extremists. Have nothing to do with Islam. When you quote the Quran like I do today, why Muslim will not debate me? They debate lots of people. Why do they not debate me? Because I said, you need to ask Allah to apologize to you. You need to ask Muhammad to apologize to you. I'm just a reporter. I'll win. Trust me. I will always win any debate. Why? Because I got the source. I got the right material from the right source to expose their lies in America. Let's talk about the retaliation. Now, some guy killed his son, or some guy killed his daughter because she did what is evil. She committed adultery, she killed a baby, abortion maybe, or she left Islam. How are we going to punish these people who kill their family members? Here we go.
The following are not subject to retaliation. A Muslim for killing a non-Muslim, a father or mother, or their fathers and mothers for killing their offspring, or offspring's offspring.
So for me as a Muslim, to kill any few infidels, it is lawful. You don't kill me for killing a Christian. You don't kill me for killing a Jew. Are you out of your mind? If that's the case, lots of Muslims in Egypt will be killed. They put them in jail, in prison, for long 25 years. Well, 3 years later, they were good behaviors, they let them go. Okay? So the judgment, lifetime, 25. In reality, they get a few years, and who knows? Who's behind jails? Who knows who's behind prisons? Anywhere in the Muslim world. You think there's justice in Egypt? Like justice in America? Well, good luck with that. So as a Christian, I'd be killed by the Muslim, and the Muslim will never be punished for killing me. Now, if I'm killing my children or my great-grandchildren, anybody in my family, and I stand up before Sharia court, in front of Sharia court, and the judge, the Muslim imam, will tell me, did you kill your granddaughter? Yes, Your Honor, I did. Why did you kill her? Well, she committed adultery, Your Honor. Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Ali. You can go home free now. Welcome to Sharia in America. You don't punish a man for practicing Sharia to kill any of their offspring, children or grandchildren for committing sin. Listen.
The law goes on in great detail about what acts entail leaving Islam. This includes being sarcastic about Allah's name or reviling Allah or His messenger.
Oh, so what I'm doing here tonight is literally punishing by death. The punishment of what I'm doing today, we got plenty of fatwa, thank God for each one of them. The issue decreased to kill me. Punch yourself. I'm still alive and well, don't be afraid. When I'm dead, maybe you need to hide. Okay? So, this is the video about blaspheming law. This is no joke. Judge Janine got to talk about it. She did 3-4 times talk about Islam. The last one, she was really hurt by it for 2 weeks. When she talked about the hijab and Ilhan Omar. I'll get to you in a minute here. But here what we're talking about, the blaspheming law. It's Sharia.
And Muslim blasphemy laws call for the death of infidels who insult the Prophet Muhammad. My next guests say even many highly educated American Muslims believe that criticism of Islam should not be permitted under the First Amendment. Act for America founder Brigitte Gabriel and Center for Security Policy President Frank Gaffney join me now. All right, good evening to the both of you. Brigitte, I'll start with you. You say that large numbers of American Muslims support Sharia blasphemy laws. How does one determine that this is actually true?
Wenzel Strategies did polling data and asked highly educated American Muslims. We're talking Harvard graduates, Columbia, very well accomplished, financially successful. We're not talking about Somali taxi drivers who can barely speak English driving taxis in New York City. And these highly intellectual and educated Americans said that 58% of them do not believe that criticizing Islam or the Prophet should be protected under the First Amendment. About 45% of them said it should be criminalized, and 12% of them believed that actually people should be killed for if they would say anything bad about the Prophet. And these are highly educated Americans here on American streets. This is not some radicals in Pakistan. If I can add one thing, Judge, the Assembly of Muslim American Jurists, AMJA, also, which is a very respectable organization in the United States, very respected. They are very influential. They sit on university boards, Islamic mosques, imams, etc. They sanction the killing of any infidel who commits blasphemy against Islam. And these are the Assembly of American Muslim Jurists. I mean, this is how mainstream it is here in America.
Well, you know, when you talk about this thinking, I mean, you know, you've got these blasphemy laws and the Sharia, and now we're hearing about these no-go zones in Europe and Sharia courts in Europe. Is that a reality? I mean, are there as many as 700 of them? Frank, are you familiar with this?
Yeah, there are 751, I think, is the latest count in France alone. These are areas in which the authorities dare not go because basically it's too dangerous for them. These are areas that are ruled effectively by Sharia. And the question is, are we on a different trajectory as far as these folks? The Muslim Brotherhood is the prime mover behind it. And I would suggest to you that it's not the case. We've done a booklet just recently on Sharia being introduced into our courts. It's available for free at securefreedom.org. I encourage people to look at it because, just as Brigitte says, it talks about this AMJA organization as a prime mover behind trying to get Sharia inculcated into our court systems, as the Brotherhood is trying to do really all of our civil society institutions for the express purpose of destroying Western civilization from within. That's a quote from them.
I don't think the American people understand me when I said a good 20 years ago that they will come and you will have Muslims in control of specific community in America where the police cannot go. It's going to be like what I call no-go zone. And people don't understand me. Can you imagine if you can have the liberty and freedom to walk in some places right now where we have these little kids, okay? Black Lives Matter, little kids, like in Seattle, where they did the same thing. And these are little kids. It changed little children, the teenagers and few years old, by real Muslim jihadi, and they will take, say, maybe your city here. You will not be able to walk in your streets. Somehow, your policemen will not go there. and they will advise you not to go there. That's exactly what happened in France. That's exactly what's happening in England. That's exactly what happened in Germany. When I talked about that, guess what? The liberals of America mocked me. You're making this up. Yeah, I'm making it up. I'm lying. It's real. We have a problem. The problem will not be fixed until the American people wake up and learn the truth about it. Yes, brother?
We're very close to that right now in Omar's district.
Yeah. It's going to be everywhere in America. It starts with little boys and girls. As I said earlier, these guys never even work a day in their life. I know George Soros gives them some money, but that's the only money they made in their life, okay? Imagine Muslim jihadi, true Muslim believers who will carry this movement in America and they will terrorize the daylight out of you. I was in Kenosha. I spoke in Kenosha on Sunday. They burned it on Wednesday and I spoke there on Sunday. I can smell the smoke still coming from the car. It was so hot. I spoke there at a Heritage Baptist Church, Saturday night, Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, and I left on Monday. What I saw in Kenosha, I talked about that with Jim Schneider on Crosstalk. First I talked with Jim Schneider, and then the following Thursday or Friday, I talked with Brandon House. You heard Brandon House. And I said, Brandon, I did not catch it until even I did my interview with Jim on Crosstalk. He said, what do you mean? I said, the people of Kenosha are cowards. They're afraid. The preacher said to me, Usama, my people are cowards. My people are afraid. And by the way, he's a black preacher. Conservative black preacher. You can go online and check him out. Heritage Baptist. Okay? Now, when he was telling this to me, I couldn't understand what he's talking about. But Monday night after I did my crosstalk with Jim, it dawned on me, man, I know what it is. The people are afraid. Every business covers the windows with plywood. And not they're afraid that they're going to break their window and burn their building. They actually wrote on the plywood, they have the fist, Black Lives Matters, no justice, no peace, love, 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 I can't breathe, hands up. All these logos all over the businesses. These are supposed to be the people who do not like Black Lives Matters. But you know what they're doing? They're bowing down to Black Lives Matters. That's exactly. They're afraid, they're coward, and they bow down. They will give them whatever money they need. Please don't burn my business. There was one business guy, the guy said, I am black, please don't burn my place. We're begging some kids not to burn our place. Where are the men in that city? Wait until the Democrats take your bullets. I don't know what you're going to do with your guns. I'm not asking you to go and do right, but there's something called protect your business, protect your place, protect your family, protect your honor. There's no honor in America anymore. They're coward and they're afraid. Bow down. I can imagine. I told Brandon, I said, I can always see the future. 10, 20 years from now, when the real Muslim jihadi will be doing the same things, and the America will say, please, don't burn my place. Please, we'll give you the jizya. Please, you can have my daughter as a wife. Maybe someone said, you can have my wife as a wife. But don't kill me, don't kill my family.
Whenever the bride is a virgin, the father or grandfather may marry her to someone without her permission. Though it is recommended to ask her permission if she has reached puberty, a virgin's silence is considered permission.
It's M3.13, number 2. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's so many laws there about marriage. It's my expertise. I studied Islamic law in Alexandria, Egypt, institution, the college I was there for 2 years. I know too much about marriage and divorce and Sharia. In Islam, it would turn your hair to gray or fall off to be like mine. No hair. You lose all your hair. But here's the law. If you have a daughter with a little girl, you can marry to anybody without asking her permission. Now, if you have an older one and she did not say yes or no, she can be married to whoever husband you choose for her. Because if she's silent, that means she's okay with it. A guy come home to meet with your dad, you never met him before, 30, 40 years older than you, and they say, he want to marry you. And if you quiet, that means okay. If you say no, we have children tonight, I cannot talk about what I want to talk about, there's some other reasons why you said no. You most likely have not been faithful, therefore we're going to stone you to death. So you die or you marry a guy, of course you married a guy, Stoning is a little bit harsh way to die in Islam. So, What is the age for the little girls? Anybody give me a number? Shoot a number. 7, 6, 5.
Don't limit.
How about after birth?
Oh.
After birth, we know for sure she's a girl. Okay, here we go. I make it up. I make this up all the way up. I would love to see a Muslim to debate me to prove me that I'm lying.
Islamic doctrine permits the marriage of prepubescent girls. There is no minimum age for marriage contract, and the consummation may take place when the girl is at age 8 or 9.
I can marry my neighbor daughter who is just born a minute ago, but I will not be able to be involved with her sexually until she turns 8 or 9. What? Don't you love Islam? That's why they are actually trying hard to practice this in Egypt. And when the Egyptian heard that, they say no. Not no, the H-no. Remember I told you earlier? H-no, we don't want this to happen to our daughters. And the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt, they say, why are you rejecting that? That is the Sunnah of Muhammad. This is how Muhammad lived. Are you trying to tell me Muhammad was a pedophilia? A child molester? Who do you think you are? You must give your daughter to any man who want to marry her. Says who? Says Muhammad. Says who? Says Sharia. Here is the true story. This is coming to us from England. What's happening in England will happen in America. But notice, as we watch this video, that the government of England is doing exactly what the liberals of America will do to you in this country. Exactly. The police in England is doing exactly what the police has been doing in America for years. They will protect the Muslims and they care less about your daughters and your children in this country. This is not a made-up story. That's a true story. But sadly, the media in America will not talk about it. Listen.
Now, another town this week joined the list of shame, where sex gangs have roamed seemingly unchecked to prey on girls as young as 11, raping, drugging, beating, trafficking, and potentially even murdering them in the process. What's happened in Telford could be the worst case of a paedophile gang involved in widespread child abuse the country has ever seen. But as I read the names of those convicted, something struck me. In Telford, they included Azir Ali Mahmoud, Mubarak Ali, and Adel Ali. In a similar case in Rotherham, Razwan Razag, Adil Hussein, and Zafran Ramzan were among the guilty. To Rochdale now, Mohammed Amin, Abdul Aziz and Mohammed Sajid, among others, were convicted. And now to Oxford, where it was Anjam Dogar, Kamir Jamil and Zishan Ahmed ending up behind bars. Now, a very broad reckoning of the guilty shows around 80% are men of Pakistani and Bangladeshi origin. Well, a couple of observations then. Why do they appear to view white girls as objects to be traded and even disposed of? And what is their community doing about it?
Nick, this is a tragedy that's been going on up and down the country, and unfortunately, the police and local councils have been complicit in covering up this scandal.
Well said.
Yeah.
Time and time again, they have found that British, Pakistani and Bangladeshi South Asian Muslim men like me have been involved in grooming underage white girls and targeting them in what I would describe as racially motivated sexual assault. And for fear of racism, the local politicians for fear of losing votes, and the police for fear of being sacked by those local politicians, have been hiding this situation. And of course, then it led to a national inquiry. We know that because the conclusions of the national inquiry were the same. I'm going to read to you something, because Telford could well be worse than what happened in Rotherham and Rochdale. And yet still, despite that, we have the superintendent for Telford and Wrecking, Tom Harding, saying the following. He said that what I would say is sexual offending across Telford and Wrecking is virtually identically proportionate to the breakdown of society, so it's not one particular section over others. Forgive the language, the French, but this is total BS, because he's confusing two types of sexual offences. We as Quilliam looked into this, and I'm going to come to the stats in a second.
I know you've done a lot of, and you've done a lot of broadcasting. You're a real pillar in this area, I have to say. Salute what you've done.
Thank you. Type 1 is the grooming of underage white girls, or any girl generally is type 1 as a category, the grooming of underage girls by gangs of men. Now, in type 1, where the grooming gangs are involved, it was found in our research that we found, I'm going to put this up on the screen for you, that 84% of those involved in type 1, which is gang grooming of underage girls, were, what it says there, South Asian. To be specific, they were Pakistani and Bangladeshi Muslims, right? Type 2, which is, I hate to use the phrase, ordinary paedophilia, what we normally understand by the word paedophilia, is representative of wider society. So one statistic found it was about 87% in type 2, which was paedophiles, 87% were white. Another found 100% were white. But of course, that's not surprising because the vast majority of the country is white. What's interesting is the disproportionate figure of 84% hailing from my background. Why that's interesting is because roughly only 2% of the country are Pakistani and Bangladeshi Muslim men who are responsible for 84% of collective grooming of underage white girls.
Who is this guy? He must be a Christian guy or a Jewish guy who hates the Muslims of England. No, his name is Majid Nawaz. Majid Nawaz claimed to be a moderate Muslim or a Muslim reformer, as we have here in America, Zuhdi Jasser and blah, blah, blah. Because he did this interview, the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, put him on my list as a racist, Islamophobe, or whatever. Well, he got money, I don't. He knows some good lawyer, I don't. He sued them, and he made $3.5 million. And they wrote him a letter of apology. The letter available online, you can go and read it. I'm looking for a good, smart lawyer. He can take all the money he can get out of the SBLC. All I need is a letter of apology for putting me on that list for the last 14, 15 years. So if you are out there, come get all the money you can get out of there. Majid Nawaz is not telling the truth. He's lying. He's putting the rape, the child rape in England, and he tells the truth. It's reality. 2% of the Muslim, Pakistani and Bangladeshi, not South Asian, as the stupid media in England says, they're Muslims, okay, are responsible for 84% of child rape. This is not something we're guessing. These are cases won in court. They confess guilty. Yes, I raped her. Yes, I killed her. That is a number, okay? That is a reality of what is happening in England for years, for the last 20 years. And the media in America will not talk about that. Because trust me, when this will be happening to your daughters in America, they'll be doing the same thing. The stupid media, liberal media in England will be the same stupid media in Minnesota. They'll be the same. They'll find some reason to give you a good excuse why this is happening. Majid Nawaz said this has something to do with culture. Majid Nawaz says have something to do with upgrowing. You see, we have a problem in England with child rape by Muslim, but this has nothing to do with Islam. Now, I will correct his information because I'm not here to please anybody. I'm here to please God and tell you the truth. You want to hear it? Good. You want to believe it? Wonderful. You want to believe it? It's okay. I've been called all kinds of names. You're not going to add or subtract from what I got already. The truth is this. The truth is this. Muhammad said the Sunnah. Muhammad said the Sharia in action. What Muhammad did is good, therefore the Muslims will continue to do. Here is what Aisha told us herself. This is the beloved, favorite wife of Muhammad.
Aisha said,
"The Prophet, Allah's prayer and peace be upon him, married me when I was 6 years old, and he had sex with me when I was 9 years old."
How old was Muhammad when he married Aisha? He was 51 years old, a year older than me. Married to a 6-year-old child. I know Muslim will tell you he did not involve with her sexually until she turned 9, 54 to 9. What was he doing with her in these 3 years? He used to molest her without having intercourse with her. That is the Prophet of Allah, whom your Joe Biden told us last week or two weeks ago. We need to learn more about Islam. We need the Muslims to educate our children in our public schools. And Joe Biden said that Muhammad is a prophet. I'm thankful to God until today, never heard Trump say Prophet Muhammad. And the day Trump will say Prophet Muhammad, I will disown him as I disowned Bush before him. Muhammad is not a prophet. Muhammad is a child molester, a sex offender, a prophet pretender, a womanizer, an adulterer, a thief, a thug, a terrorist, anything but a prophet. Amen. What is the evidence? I read the Quran and I studied the Hadith. If Muslim would like to debate me on that topic, I'll be honored at your convenience. Give me a call. Anytime. Anytime. As a matter of fact, if a Muslim show up right now, I'll stop what I'm doing and we debate this topic. Here he is. A child molester. And it just happens that Aisha was a small girl. As Muslim would tell you, 8 or 9. Why 8 or 9 as we read in the Sharia? Depends on the size of the girl. If she's heavy, she can be involved sexually before. If she's skinny and young, he need to wait a year. 9. Wow. Don't you love the beauty of Islam? The marriage in Islam, that's not marriage, that's abuse. Let's move on for the sake of time. Not only the Sunnah of Muhammad, but the Quran assures us that Muslims can do so. Allah's word itself. That is the second important source of Sharia.
And for those of your women who despair of menstruation, if you doubt that they may be pregnant, their prescribed waiting time is 3 months, as well as for those who have not yet begun menstruation.
So if I'm married to my wife, I don't want to divorce her, I can say, honey, you're divorced. On the spot, she's no longer my wife. Within 3 months, I can bring her back. And if I, for some reason, want to divorce her again, I said, you're divorced. She is on the spot, no longer my wife. Within 3 months, I can bring her back. She be my wife again. So these 3 months, she cannot be free to go marry some other husband. In case I change my mind, I want to have her back. Or in case she's pregnant by my child, the child have to come to me, not to her. Tell this to the dumb American ladies who marry Muslim men all over this country to produce Muslim babies. That is Quran chapter 2 and verse 229. What happened if I got mad at her one more time and I divorced her the third time? Quran chapter 2 and verse 230. Examine my verses, guys. Okay? Write it down. Maybe I'm lying. I make it up verses, you know. Muslims say, you sound lie all the time. Yeah. 230, verse 230, Allah said, if I divorce my wife in the third time, she can no longer be married to me. Hallelujah, she's free. No. Until I call my cousin or somebody I trust, somebody I love, somebody care about me, and I don't know what happened to my phone. It's somewhere. We'll find my phone later. So I pick up the phone and here's my phone. Hello. Hey, Muhammad. How are you, buddy? Hey, I really need your help, man. I trust you. I told you I trust you. And I love you. And I know you love me too, okay? I need your help. Would you, I trust you. Would you please marry my wife? I divorced her the third time. And I need you to make her lawful for me. Will you do that? But remember, I trust you. Now, my cousin Muhammad or Ali will marry my wife. Must have sexual relationship with her at least one time. In the morning, after the wedding, if he divorced her, I can have her back as my wife. And Muslims say, we believe in Moses, and we believe in the Torah. Well, guess what the Torah said in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 20, verse 1 to 4? The opposite. If a man divorced his wife, and he gave her a book of divorce, and she's gone, if she married another husband, if the new husband died, or if the new husband divorced her, she can no longer go back to her first husband. So before you divorce wife in Jewish faith, make sure this is the final decision. She come out of your house, you kiss her goodbye. You'll never marry her again. In Islam, find her a good husband, somebody you trust, so he can make her lawful. That is the 3 months, the period of a woman can be free from her husband until they go by, then she can be free to marry anybody else. But not serious. As well as for those who have not yet begun menstruation, little children. If a Muslim man is married to a little girl, 5, 6, 7, 8, there's no age. The 9 years or 8 years, because Muhammad did it with Aisha when she was 8 or 9. You did not know exactly. But in Islam, according to the word of Allah, little children, if you divorce your wife, the little girl, she cannot be married or abused by another man unless 3 months go by. In case she's what? Maybe she's pregnant. Welcome to the pedophilia Allah and the pedophilia Muhammad and the pedophilia in the Sharia, Islamic law. And they try to tell me that what they do with the little children in England have nothing to do with Islam, it's just culture. M6.7, 5, in the book of Rise of the Traveler, available here tonight. You can help yourself and look at it.
It is not lawful or valid for a Muslim man to be married to any woman who is not either a Muslim, Christian, or Jew. Nor is it lawful or valid for a Muslim woman to be married to anyone besides a Muslim.
I met with a Sri Muslim Imam. I spoke in a church in Ohio. And the Imam literally scares the daylight out of the people of the church. They never had me back. That was like, 11, 12 years ago. I don't remember how many years, a long time ago. And the Imam said, "Sir, you're teaching hate. We love Christians. We love Jews. My wife is a Christian." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Are you a citizen yet?" And he will not answer my question. "Have nothing to do with citizenship." I said, "You marry your American wife. She's a Christian. Are you a citizen yet?" He will not answer the question. I said, "Forget about it. Okay. Can I marry your daughter? Can I marry your sister? Can I marry your granddaughter?" At the time, I was only like 40-some years old, okay? I was still young. I can marry his granddaughter, the 5, 6 years old child. And he said, "No." I said, "So it's not love. Sharia allow you to marry the Jewish and the Christian lady, but Sharia will not allow a Jewish or a Christian man to marry your daughters. So it's not love. It is invasion. You're invading the American ladies by marrying them to raise Muslim baby out of them. After all, you can have up to 4 free women. An unlimited number of concubines and slaves. If it is love, ladies and gentlemen, you marry my sister, I marry your sister. You marry my daughter, I marry your daughter. You marry my granddaughter, I marry your granddaughter. Because love. No, it is invasion. Yes, Islam, the Sharia, teach Muslim, it's okay to marry a Christian or Jewish, but it's not okay for a Jew or Christian to marry a Muslim lady. Okay? I don't even have to marry you. As a Muslim man, to be involved with infidels' wives. They're married women. Yes, I can. Why? Allah said so in the Quran, the source of Sharia. Listen. Quran 4:24, the book of women. And married women are also forbidden. Okay? Except, you read the word except here, very important. All that your right hand possesses. So if I am in Europe today, and I go to a bar, and I see a British lady, or a French lady, or a German lady, and I kidnap her, and she's married, I have the right, blessed by Allah, to be involved with her sexually, which we call rape. Okay? Rape. Now, listen to this. This is the decree of Allah for you. And it is lawful to you, besides that, to seek out women with your money. You know what we call this in America? Prostitution. Prostitution. Thank you so much. You guys are awake. You're not asleep yet, okay? With money. Chase without fornication. So whatever you enjoy by it, that is their private part, from them, these are the women, so gives them their wages. We call this in Sharia, marriage for fun. Marriage for fun. It is a man, you can actually go online and watch videos. Men propose to women, "I would like to marry you." She said, "For how long?" He said, "A couple nights." "How much?" She said, 300 dinar. No, 300 dinar. Okay, I'll give you 200. They negotiate the price. 250 dinar for 2 nights. Or for 3 nights. When the night is over, he gave her the money, she go away free. And it's marriage. You do that in the Shia, Sunni, and the Shia Muslim, it is halal, lawful, 100%, nothing wrong. Now the Sunni will tell you that Allah changed his mind. Why? Because Muhammad made it lawful, and then he make it unlawful. And he make it lawful again, and he make it unlawful again. And he make it lawful the third time, and he made it unlawful the third time. And after Allah made it unlawful the third time, Muslims cannot practice this marriage. Excuse me, you call that marriage? Are you embarrassed of yourself and your Allah and your Muhammad to say he made it lawful? He made prostitution lawful 3 times? But the verse is still in the Quran. Why Muhammad deny it or do not allow Muslims to practice it if it is in their book, the holy book of Allah? Here's the future of the women in Europe, in Canada, in America. And by the way, this is not coming from a conservative, that's coming from a liberal. Okay?
According to the Canada Free Press, Sweden has the 2nd highest Muslim immigration rate in Europe and the 2nd highest sexual assault rate in Europe.
I wonder why. Maybe Muslims practicing Islam practicing Sharia. It's gone.
1 in 5 women in the UK will be sexually assaulted, according to the Canada Free Press. The Canada Free Press went on to say, the statistics suggest that the key factor is not necessarily a high Muslim population, but a high Muslim immigrant population.
You know how stupid that is? It's not because we got lots of Muslims in Rochester, now our women start being raped. No, it's because we have a large number of Muslim immigrants in Rochester. What is the difference between Muslim in Rochester and Muslim immigrant in Rochester? What is the difference? Can somebody help me out here? Because my English is not that good. I'm learning, okay? It's my third language. What is the difference between Muslim population and Muslim immigrant population? What is the difference? You have to be stupid to listen to that garbage.
The more open a European country is to Muslim mass migration, the more dangerous it is to women.
So what is the answer, all liberals? Just bring the Muslims slowly. 1 million at a time, sweet Jesus, you know. 1 million at a time. You don't have to bring 10 million one time. If you got 10 million to your state, you're going to have a problem. But maybe 500,000 every year. Don't you love this idea? Not big immigration, but slow immigration. Because then they're going to change and they become Americans. And then they will not really rape your women in America. Excuse me. Allah's word said it is lawful to do so and they enjoy it so. They're practicing Islam. Let's move on to jihad. Jihad. Okay? What do you think that book, The Alliance of the Traveler, teach about jihad? Because if you open your textbook school in your country here, in your city here, in Rochester, Minnesota, trust me, the textbooks will tell you jihad is internal struggle for Muslims to fight evil, for Muslims to do good, for Muslims to do charities. They are teaching your children in Rochester High School that jihad is for dad to work so hard so he can provide all this necessary money and food stuff for mom and you. And jihad for mama is to work so hard to keep the house clean and fix good food and wash your clothes. And jihad for you boys and girls in Islam is to study hard and be A students. They want us to work so hard and everything will be great in America. Wow. That is what they teach your children about jihad. Then they will say, sometimes, not all the time, sometimes jihad means war. But that is defensive war, not offensive war. If somebody attacks the Muslim people, they have to defend themselves, therefore they go in war. Now let's listen to what jihad is, okay, according to Sharia.
Jihad means to war against non-Muslims and is etymologically derived from the word mujahada, signifying warfare to establish the religion. The scholarly basis for jihad, prior to scholarly consensus, is such Quranic verses as...
Before we get to the verse, it is what? Warfare to establish the religion. What religion? Islam. What is jihad? In the true understanding of Muslim scholars, according to the word of Allah in the Quran, according to the saying of Muhammad and how Muhammad understood and practiced jihad. The only way you understand the best hermeneutics for any passage in the Quran or in the Bible is how Muhammad wrote it, how the apostle in the Bible wrote it, how they understood it, how they practiced it, how we can bring it today to our culture and practice it even today. Okay, so here we go. Listen to the words of Allah in the Quran. Quran chapter 2 verse 216.
War is decreed to you, and it is hated by you. And perhaps you may hate something, and it is good for you. And perhaps you love something, and it is evil for you. And Allah knows, and you do not know.
I thought they're going to give us verses about jihad. Why the Alliance of the Traveler, the book of Sharia, talk about war? Oh, but you don't understand. That we got in the Quran 79 verses where Allah mentioned war. And the interpretation of all these verses for the word war is jihad. As well as we got 26 other verses in the Quran where Allah mentioned jihad. And the interpretation of all these 26 verses of jihad by all Muslim scholars, it is to engage in war. So war is jihad and jihad is war. You got it? So it doesn't matter what verse you can use in the Quran. Jihad or war, they're talking about the same thing, which is jihad. Let's go to 489.
They desire that you should become infidels as they are infidels, so that you should be alike. So do not take any of them for friends until they emigrate for the sake of Allah. So if they turn away, so seize them and kill them wherever you find them, and do not take from them as friends or helpers.
Exactly. When Allah says in the Quran, kill, He's talking about jihad. So war is jihad, jihad is jihad, and killing is jihad. And why here the Muslims are killing infidels? Because the infidels are trying to make the Muslims infidels. That's why when they capture any of our missionaries overseas, they kill them. Why? What the missionaries doing there? Hugging and kissing the Muslims? No. He's trying to convert the Muslims to Christianity. He's trying to make the Muslims infidel. Therefore, it is lawful, it is right for the Muslims to capture our missionaries and kill them. I told you, Sharia is Quran plus the saying of Muhammad. Here's what Muhammad taught about why Muslim perform jihad, or why Muslim engage in war with people.
Muhammad said, I have been commanded to engage in war with people until they testify that there is no God but Allah, and that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. Muhammad also said, to go forth in the morning or evening to fight in the path of Allah is better than the whole world and everything in it.
So why Muhammad was engaging in war with the infidels of his days? Oh, to say the Shahada, which means what? To become Muslims. So what is jihad? It is war to establish the religion of Islam. And that is the best thing a Muslim man can ever do. In the morning, in the evening, in the afternoon. Kill some infidels and you are pleasing to Allah and Muhammad. And that obviously comes from the last of the traveler. The page was there and you can come later and look it up. Here it is on page 599, ladies and gentlemen. We're not making this up. That is from their own books. Now, let's talk about the punishment of adultery. I already mentioned it. I'll just say it again.
Unlawful intercourse is a capital crime under Sharia, punishable by lashing and stoning to death.
We said about Quran chapter 6, verse 151. I'll remind you, Allah said, and do not kill the soul which Allah forbids except for a just cause. What is the just cause? Muhammad said in the hadith, the blood of the Muslim cannot be shed except in three cases: murder, adultery, and apostasy. You leave Islam. If you kill a Muslim, you must be killed. If you commit adultery, you must be killed. If you leave Islam, you must be killed. Alright? So, move on to this next very important slide.
The director of the Dallas Council on American Islamic Relations, CAIR, Mustafa Carroll, made a surprising and shocking statement during a Muslim rally in Austin, Texas. He firmly believes that the message of the Quran is supreme over the United States Constitution. He said, if we are practicing Muslims, we are above the law of the land.
How many of you heard that on Fox News? None. CNN? None. Will anybody repeat it? No. Imagine with me, a Christian minister make a statement not similar to that, much less than that. It will be all over the liberal news. As a matter of fact, they're already fighting the Judge Amy, because she made some statement about she does not believe in abortion. And how dare you be a Catholic and be a Supreme Justice? And now we got all the Catholic on the Democrat who know nothing about Catholicism. They believe you can be a good Catholic and believe to have the freedom to choose. Says who? If the Pope is teaching that, that Pope needs to be thrown in the garbage can. Because that's not what the Catholic ever believed. If we are practicing Muslims, we are above the law of the land. The head of CAIR in Dallas. What is CAIR once again? It is the Muslim Brotherhood. It is a jihad organization. That is the real Islam. These are the same people who are telling you right now, if you want to have Sharia, get out of America. Go somewhere else. Here we love our Constitution. Oh, but at the same time, if we're practicing Muslims, we're above the Constitution of America. Figure out who's telling the truth here. They're speaking from both sides of their mouths. But the naive American will believe whatever they say. I really did not mean it that way. Really. He didn't mean it that way. We're taking him out of context. We misunderstood what he said. Must be. Who do you know about this guy here? Who know about this? Imam Faisal Abdul Rauf. You remember him? The mosque in Ground Zero. Okay? This is the guy who believe to build a mosque by the name, he wishes to build a mosque by the name Cordova. Cordova. What is a Cordova? It is a battle the Muslim won in Spain. And he has the guts to choose the name Cordova for a mosque in Ground Zero. A battle to celebrate the death of 3,000 Americans. That's what it is. Listen to what he said about Sharia.
So 90% of Sharia law is fully compatible, not only compatible, is consistent or compatible with American constitutional law and American laws.
That's what you hear on Fox News, the conservative station of America. 90%, not what, it's fully compatible. I mean, it literally, Sharia, Islamic law, and American constitution fit perfectly. I don't know what he was smoking or what he was drinking, but I know how dumb American people to listen to that garbage and believe it. Because that's what happened. If you tell a lie big enough, keep repeating it, people eventually come to believe it. Joseph Goebbels knows exactly what he's talking about. I'm not kidding you. All liberal Democrats believe in that. That's why they have no problem to have a congresswoman or a congressman a Muslim, because after all, 90% of Islam fit with our constitution. I would challenge that garbage here to show me one law in that book fit with our constitution. If he can prove to me that there's one law in Sharia fit with the U.S. Constitution, I will quit my ministry and I'll become the best darn Muslim imams they ever have. But he's lying. He's lying. Maybe the American people need to learn about our Constitution. Because if we remember our Constitution, we'll know how liar this man is. I believe bankers do not study every fake dollars or counterfeit dollars. They just study the real money. If you know your real Constitution, you will not fall into this life and this hogwash of these Muslims all over America. So let's quickly go and look at what we have in our Declaration of Independence.
The Declaration of Independence. On July 4th, 1776, America's founding fathers, after appealing to the laws of nature and of nature's God, from the Mosaic Law and God Jehovah, to justify their separation from Great Britain, then declared.
Listen, we're talking about God, not Allah. None of the early fathers of your great country know anything about Allah or talked about Allah. And as I said earlier, when Thomas Jefferson learned about Allah, he went to war with 4 Muslim countries for 5 years. When America was a baby country.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They referred to the Creator as the supreme judge of the world and referenced divine providence.
How much of this life fit with Islam? I challenge Muslims to debate me on that alone. Men are created equal. Really? Does the Quran, does Sharia, does Muhammad teach that a Jewish man equal to a Christian man, equal to a Muslim man? Show me that proof, and I'll prove you're lying. As a matter of fact, even in Islam, as we're going to see in a minute here, a Muslim man is not equal to a Muslim woman, is not equal to a Muslim slave. Muslims to Muslims to Muslims. We are created with certain inalienable rights. In Islam, you have no rights. You submit. What is to become a Muslim? To submit, to surrender. When you become a Muslim, you put your right in the garbage can. And now you are slave to Allah, a slave to Muhammad, a slave to Islam. You have no rights. Amazing. Okay, if I have right, okay, I don't want to become a Muslim anymore. I choose to become an atheist. I want to be an agnostic. I want to be a Christian. Can I do that as a Muslim? No, you have no. What happened when I do that? Off was your head. Hello? What is, if a man does not have right to choose how he worship and what to worship, what right else do he, what other right he have? You kiss every other right goodbye. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness in Islam? That's like saying, turn the light off so I can read my book. I want the room dark because I cannot read in the lights. Backwards.
The Constitution of the United States was based upon the Holy Bible and dependence upon Almighty God, meaning Jehovah, the God of Israel. But our leaders are elected by the people, and our leaders get their power from the consent of the governed.
And that is a problem we have in America. Maybe we need to educate our people about Islam. We need to educate our people about the Democrat and their party and their agenda and their goals and their hope for the destruction of America. Then our people will elect the right people, the right leaders. Maybe we need to go back to the Holy Bible. Maybe we need to go back to Almighty God, not Holy Quran and Almighty Allah. Holy Bible, Almighty God. That's what America needs. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. We're becoming dumber and dumber every generation. If you think it's bad right now, for heaven's sake, I talk to some of you children and ask, what's your name, honey? Oh, my name is Sarah. Oh, Sarah. How old are you, Sarah? I'm 16. Good. Or 18, whatever age. Sarah, can you tell me about Sarah in the Bible? Sarah in the Bible? Isn't she Isaac's wife or Jacob's wife? No, honey. She was actually Isaac's mama. He didn't even know the biblical stories of their names. When you grow up in Egypt until today, little children, the 8 and 9 and 10 years old, they can tell you every story in the Bible, Old Testament, New Testament. So who's Roaz? Who's Boaz? Who's Raos? Who's every name in the Bible? Christian children in Egypt can teach our elders and our deacons in America who knew nothing about the Bible. That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is. Even the uneducated Christian in Egypt, in the farm, who cannot read or write. When my dad used to preach, I'm not kidding you. My dad has been dead now for 10 years. When he used to preach in the farm, they have no electricity, villages, they bought light gas, two in the pulpit so my dad can read the Bible. And as he quotes the verses of the Bible, the church are reading with him from their head. They memorize the Bible. I got deacons in America, they don't know where is the book of Hebrews. They say the book of Hebrews in the Old Testament. After all, it has the word Hebrews. Amendment 1.
Amendment 1. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances.
And that's why Muslims in America are allowed to build mosques and practice Islam. But in reality, when you examine this side by side with the word of Allah in the Quran, with the command of Muhammad in the Hadith, with Sharia, none of the Muslims have the right to breathe air inside the borders of the United States of America. Because nothing of this fit with Islam. Nothing. First of all, Islam is not a religion. Islam is a savage cult. There is no freedom in Islam to have freedom of speech. That's why they're working so hard to get Biden in the White House, because trust me, when Biden is in the White House, he promised the Muslim already, if you have already heard it, he will end hate speech. You know what he's talking about, hate speech? He's talking about Usama Dacdok. What I'm doing tonight in Islam is a hate speech, even though I'm telling you nothing but the truth. So help me God. And I challenge Muslims to prove me lying. Peaceably. What is the word peaceably here? Assemble and the right of the people peaceably to assemble. Do you think Muslims meet in a mosque in America or anywhere around the world peaceably? There are more Muslims killed in mosques in the Muslim world than Muslims killed in the streets in the Muslim world. If you think Black Lives Matter is a problem, wait until the Muslims march out of their mosque on Friday to burn America to the ground. That's what happened in Egypt. Friday is the worst day they have. Why? Thousands of Muslims all over the mosque. It's a day off. As Muslims would demand, Friday will be off in America someday. And they march out of their business, out of their mosque, burning Christian businesses, burning Christian homes, burning Christian churches, and killing men and raping women on Fridays. The most beautiful day for Muslims to practice jihad in Egypt. And it's everywhere in the Muslim world. And this is coming to a city near you in America when the Muslims have the upper hand. So, here's Amendment 1. Kiss it goodbye. It does not fit with Islam.
According to Black's Law Dictionary, religious liberty and freedom, as guaranteed by the First Amendment, is to express without external control other than one's own conscience.
Can we practice that in Islam? Does this fit with Islam? You worship freely because that's what you want, and leave if you don't want? That goes against Islam 100%. 180 degrees, the opposite of what Islam and Sharia teach the Muslims.
It provides for any or no system of religious opinion and is the right to engage in or refrain from any form of religious observance or public or private religious worship, as long as it is consistent with the peace and order of society.
Exactly like we have it in any church in America. You can be a Catholic today, a Baptist tomorrow, a Presbyterian the following week, an atheist the following months. Trust me, the Catholic will not hunt you down, the Baptist will not shoot you or kill you, and the Presbyterian will not stone you, and the atheist will love you. In one house, you can have, and I saw it in America, in one house, a Baptist minister, and a lesbian daughter, and a godly Christian son who's a minister of music. Friends of mine. And the father never thought for a second to kill his daughter because she become a lesbian. Or his son, other one, who become a gay. It's a free country. This can be practiced in Christianity, but can never, ever, ever practice in Islam. Therefore, it is unconstitutional for Muslims to use Amendment 1 to practice Islam. Yes, brother.
Our governor is, he was born Roman Catholic.
Yeah.
Moved Mankato, changed to Lutheran, and now he's Islam.
Sure. That's the beauty of it. Yeah, in Islam. That your governor is a dumb governor. I would love to have him for debate. So can I educate him a little bit about Islam? Anyway, by the way, Julani Hussein, I mentioned to you earlier, he's a spiritual advisor for your governor. Can you imagine? A Muslim jihadi is a spiritual advisor. He worked for your governor. He get money, salary from your governor for teaching him about Islam. And I cannot meet with your governor.
None of the following ideologies or groups will fit within this legal framework, including Islam, Satanism, the Black Panthers, the KKK, Nazis, or communists. Many experts feel that these are not protected by the First Amendment due to disruption of peace and order in society.
Show me a Muslim country in the last 1,500 years, 1,400 years plus, who have a peaceful life. Then we can have all the Muslims in America. I'm not saying for some time, in the last 1,400 years, Muslims know nothing about peace or societal peace. As a matter of fact, I can summarize the history of Islam in one sentence. A gushing river of blood. End of story. And you bring in the Muslims to your state in the hundreds of thousands. Imam Faisal Abdul said 90% of Islam is fully compatible with the U.S. Constitution. I'm going to share with you quickly here a quick summary of what I want you to figure out about the differences between Islam or Sharia, Islamic law, and U.S. Constitution. For example, according to what we have shared so far and other material as well,
there is no freedom of religion.
Islam does not allow freedom of religion. How can this be fully compatible with America? How about this one? In Islam,
there is no freedom of speech.
In Islam,
there is no freedom of thought.
You can't even think in Islam. What about this? In Islam,
there is no freedom of artistic expression.
Try to draw a cartoon for somebody. Okay? In Islam,
there is no freedom of the press.
I always tell the press people, as a matter of fact, first time we talked here, when Brother Gary brought me here, in this room somewhere here, or maybe a different building, when the media people came. It was in this room. Right here. It was here. Yeah, you play the music here?
Yeah.
We went to Sad's room and I called the media. She came and she talked with me. And I told her, honey, do you have another job? She said, what do you mean? I said, well, you're helping the Muslims take over your country. You need to find another job. She said, what do you mean? I said, in Islam, there is no freedom of press. You're going to lose your job, sweetheart. Maybe you need to fill some application, McDonald's, other business, whatever. Because you're going to lose your job with what you're doing. And she didn't understand what I'm talking about. She thought I'm joking. I'm not joking. You see, right now it's so liberal that everything is backwards. The evil is good and the good is evil. That's exactly a great sign for the end of time. The Bible said, in the end of time, they will call evil good and good evil. That's what we have through the liberal media in America. Next, the Muslim will take over the media. Unless you want to wear a hijab and become a good Muslimah, she will lose her job.
There is no equality of people. A non-Muslim, an infidel, is never equal to a Muslim.
Does this fit with Amendment 1? All men? Huh.
There is no equal protection for different classes of people. Justice is dualistic, with one set of laws for Muslim males and different laws for women and non-Muslims. There are no equal rights for women.
There's no right for women, period. Here's a good verse. If you listen to this carefully, you find out exactly what I'm trying to say, is that Muslim women are not equal to Muslim slaves, are not equal to Muslim men. And that is one of the, literally, the most savage verse you can ever read in the Quran. It's a savage. Even though it does not talk about killing or blood or jihad or anything. Listen.
O you who have believed, retaliation is decreed on you for the murdered, the free man for the free, and the slave for the slave, and the female for the female.
We're talking about Muslims with Muslims. If I kill one of Brother Gary's slave, he have no right to kill me. I'm a free man. He only can kill one of my innocent slaves. If one of my slaves kill Brother Gary, and he's a free man, they don't kill my slave who killed him. No, they kill me, the free man who owned the slaves. If I kill Brother Gary's wife, he have no right to touch me. He only can kill my wife. Don't you think that's a savage? That's a barbaric? Why wonder why Muslims blow up each other and kill each other over the Middle East? A Muslim Sunni believer go to a Shia mosque and he shout Allah Akbar with the vest around his chest and boom, blow up to pieces and kill 50 of the Muslim Shia inside the mosque. How does a Shia retaliate? They found a good Muslim Shia who would go to another Sunni mosque and kill 50 or 60 or 70. And they keep killing each other. Islam. They don't have any value for life. Period.
Women can be beaten.
Lightly. Okay? No broken bones. Praise Allah for Ibn Kathir. Make sure that you don't break her bones. You can beat her, but don't break her bones. But besides that,
A non-Muslim cannot bear arms.
No, this is the Democrats and the Muslims. They love that. They really believe, the Democrats believe you should not have a gun. Why? Because we're going to hire the policeman to protect you. In the same time, we're going to defund the policeman, so you'll not have a policeman to protect you. So good luck. Muslims will have the gun and you will not have it. It's an oxymoron. They're sick.
There is no democracy, since democracy means a non-Muslim is equal to a Muslim.
Here we go back again to Sharia. Sharia is the end of America.
Our Constitution is a man-made document of ignorance, Jahiliyyah, that must submit to Sharia.
How would you tell me 90% of our Constitution fit with Sharia when you tell me everything about our Constitution is Jahiliyyah, stupidity, ignorance, and we must submit to Sharia? You see the lies? I would love to have Imam Fis Abdul Rauf for a debate. I've been telling him that for the last 10 years. I don't know if anybody told him or not yet. At his convenience. Just on that statement, 90% of Sharia is fully compatible with U.S. law. I would love to ask him, just show me one law fit with our Constitution and I will quit what I'm doing.
Non-Muslims are dhimmis.
Oh, you read about dhimmis in our textbooks in America. Beautiful thing. The textbooks makes dhimmi like fantastic people, first class, protected by the Muslims. No, they're slaves. And I lived in Egypt, and I know what it is to be a dhimmi.
All governments must be ruled by Sharia.
After all, 90% of Sharia fully compatible with the U.S. law.
No separation of mosque and state.
So this is the dumb Democrats. Separate the church from the government. Separate the church from the state. Excuse me. And you are bringing Muslims in the millions? Let me put it this way. Over 80% of Islam is laws. What I'm talking about tonight is I'm teaching you Islam, which is laws. Less than 20% of Islam is religion. How in the world do you separate Islam from the laws of Islam? If everything in Islam is covered by laws, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. I mean, that's what the Muslims are doing all over America. They're getting away with everything they're doing. Okay.
Unlike common law, Sharia is not interpretive, nor can it be changed.
What is written is done. It's not flexible, as this idiot told us in the beginning of our study.
Drinkers and gamblers should be whipped.
Yes, indeed.
Homosexuals must be executed.
Now, I got Muslim homosexual in America. I mean, literally, I could not believe it. In some of the places I went to speak, and there were a huge number of people protesting outside. In Walmart, we got what? 250, 300 people, I believe. It was a huge number. But I was in Missouri, and a big umbrella, beautiful umbrella, red, blue, orange, red, green, all these powerful colors. And I told the preacher and some of the members of the church, what is that? He said, these are the gay Muslim in the community. I said, Muslim, gay, and lesbian? He said, yeah. You know why there are gay Muslims in America and lesbian Muslims in America? Because the Muslim lied to them and they told them, you see, these radical Muslims, they kill Christians, they kill Jews, they kill other Muslims, they kill gay and lesbian. But in Islam, you can be a loving husband and wife, same sex, and be good Muslims. So they became Muslims. On that church, I spoke, I'm not kidding you. If you want to time it exactly, good 3 weeks before the shooting of Orlando. Because I said from that pulpit, I said, the day is coming, and the Muslim in America will be hunting the gay and lesbian in their club, and they will be shooting them like chicken. That's what I said from the pulpit. Well, guess what? Was it in Minnesota or was it in Missouri?
Nightclub?
Tammy, no, the nightclub is in Orlando.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about when I did that, I think it was here in Minnesota. Because Tammy Godwin was there, and Tammy is from Minnesota. Anyway, 3 weeks exactly, or less than 3 weeks, the shooting took place in Orlando, and 50 Americans were killed. And guess what? The media did not make a big deal about it. After all, the shooter was a Muslim. Can you imagine if the shooter is a Baptist or a Catholic guy? You will hear it for weeks and months and years. All right? All right. Now, here's the truth about homosexuality and the punishment of homosexuality according to Muhammad, not the hogwash Muslims in America.
Muhammad said, if you find anyone doing as Lot's people did, kill the one who does it and the one to whom it is done.
That is stated by Ibn Abbas, the first cousin of Muhammad, and that's Abu Dawood, hadith number 4447. Kill them both. But in America, oh no, this is what the radical do. But in Islam, we don't do that.
Fornicators to be whipped and adulterers to be stoned to death.
Amen.
Death for Muslim and possible death for non-Muslim critics of Muhammad and the Quran and even Sharia itself.
That's to Usama Dacdok. Thank you. This is very important. Because believe it or not, half of the Muslim population are being abused by this practice. By the savage practice of Muslims in the Muslim world, and sadly even here in America.
Circumcision is obligatory for both men and women.
You remember that case here? They arrested that doctor and that, I believe, 2-3 people was them. That was in Michigan. Not far away from here.
Judge dismisses female genital mutilation charges in historic case. In a major blow to the federal government, a judge in Detroit has declared America's female genital mutilation law unconstitutional, thereby dismissing the key charges against 2 Michigan doctors and 6 others accused of subjecting at least 9 minor girls to the cutting procedure in the nation's first PGM case.
That is the liberal judges who are all over this country who care less about what Muslims do to their own, and in the future they will care less about Muslims will do to you. And that's why I think it's very important for Mr. Trump to have one more Supreme Justice, conservative person. Because believe me, if the liberals will take that Supreme Justice, and it will be, you kiss America goodbye. And once again, all it takes is liberals to win one election. 2020, 2024, 2028, 2032. After that election, there is no more election in America. It's not like we're going to have it back. If the American people will not speak out loud in the next elections, America will be gone. Now, it's a good video from my friend David Wood. I think you should listen to it and watch it.
Linda Sarsour spends quite a bit of time trying to convince Americans that they would absolutely love Sharia. You'll know when you're living under Sharia law if suddenly all your loans and credit cards become interest-free. Sounds nice, doesn't it? Wow, so if I sign up for Sharia, I get interest-free loans and credit cards. Not to mention child marriage, spousal abuse, raping female captives, stoning adulteresses. the death penalty for apostates, and the violent subjugation of all non-Muslims. Sharia, come for the interest-free loans, stay for the pedophilia and female genital mutilation. Speaking of female genital mutilation, you'll never guess who just got caught lying to all of her gullible followers about female genital mutilation. I'll give you a hint.
I am every Islamophobe's worst nightmare.
She's every Islamophobe's worst nightmare. Someone who constantly lies about Islam in order to deceive people who would never in a million years sit down and actually read an Orthodox Muslim source. Obviously, if you're trying to get Americans to warm up to Sharia, you have to keep them utterly ignorant of almost all of Sharia. Just keep telling them about the interest-free credit cards until they're being forced to convert with swords at their throats. Police recently arrested a gang of female genital mutilators in a Detroit suburb. The 3 suspects are all members of the Dawoodi Bohra sect of Shia Islam. Everyone's favorite fake feminist responded to the arrests with, "Female genital mutilation has no place in Detroit or anywhere else in the world. Female genital mutilation is barbaric and is not an Islamic practice." I agree with Linda Sarsour that female genital mutilation is barbaric and that it has no place in Detroit or anywhere else in the world, but I'm confused by her claim that it's not an Islamic practice, mainly because Muslim scholars and her prophet say the exact opposite. For instance, the sheikhs at the fatwa site Islam Question and Answer were asked to comment on this topic. A concerned Muslim wrote, "Nowadays we hear that many doctors denounce the circumcision of girls and say that it harms them physically and psychologically, and that circumcision is an inherited custom that has no basis in Islam." Sounds like something Reza Aslan would say.
I mean, the argument about the female genital mutilation being an Islamic problem is a perfect example of that. It's not an Islamic problem, it's an African problem.
Well, wait.
The scholars replied, "Praise be to Allah. Firstly, circumcision is not an inherited custom, as some people claim. Some people, including Linda Sarsour and Reza Aslan. Rather, it is prescribed in Islam, and the scholars are unanimously agreed that it is prescribed. Not a single Muslim scholar, as far as we know, has said that circumcision is not prescribed." Think about this. Linda Sarsour tells her followers that female genital mutilation isn't an Islamic practice. But actual Muslim scholars say that they unanimously agree that it is an Islamic practice and that they can't find a single Muslim scholar who doesn't think that it's an Islamic practice. Oddly enough, this would suggest that actual Muslim scholars don't regard Linda Sarsour or Reza Aslan as scholars. And yet Sarsour and Aslan are constantly paraded across news channels as experts. It's as if our news channels don't want accurate information about Islam. But let's see why Muslim scholars are unanimous on this issue. Their evidence is to be found in the Sahih Ahadith of the Prophet, which prove that it is prescribed. For example, 1. The hadith narrated by Al-Bukhari and Muslim from Abu Huraira that the Prophet said, "The fitra is a kind of natural predisposition human beings have because they're created by Allah, is 5 things, or 5 things are part of the fitra: circumcision, shaving the pubes, cutting the nails, plucking the armpit hairs, and trimming the mustache." This hadith includes circumcision of both males and females. So, female circumcision is part of Allah's created order, according to Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam. Strange that Muhammad would take female circumcision as an absolute given, while Linda Sarsour describes it as a barbaric practice that has no place anywhere, let alone in Islam.
And we will stop here because the rest is inappropriate. Go online and watch the video yourself, and you'll learn more and more about that garbage practice of circumcision of the female in Islam. It is sick. It is sick.
Testimony of a woman before a judge is worth half that of a man.
I do not know if this fits with our constitution in America. Yes.
Usama, can I share one thing about the previous topic?
Sure.
It's not to inappropriate at all. But here in Minnesota, Representative Mary Franson introduced an anti-female genital mutilation bill because of the huge problems at the county hospitals with patients presenting with issues. And the bill did pass the House of 100. It passed by 124 to 4 nays, and the 4 people who voted against it were Democrats, and 3 of the 4 were women. So our own Rochester's Tina Liebling voted against the anti-female genital mutilation bill, and I called her office and asked for an explanation, and she said to me that it's a cultural issue and it's not a religious issue. And I argued with her, and I mentioned the court cases from Michigan, because the defense that the lawyers were presenting is that it's freedom of religion. It's actually the attorneys for
the culture.
Yeah.
And by the way, Muslims will look at that in America as persecution. You are persecuting them for not allowing them to do whatever they wish to their daughters. And they are willing to go ahead, take their children and go visit grandpa and grandma overseas, fix them up there and come back without it. So they're still going to do it anyway. That's stupid. And they will tell you what is better, to lose her life by stoning to death or lose her sexual pleasure. It's better for her to be alive and praise Allah, marry to a good Muslim man and have lots of babies so we can take over America, than to kill her in many ways, shape or form. I'm not going to get into that tonight. It's very savage. When parents in America hold a husband and a wife, a mom and a dad, hold their daughter and stab the knife in her chest many times by saying what? Die in peace, daughter. It hurt, Dad. It hurt, Mom. You can hear the sound on the record of the 911. It hurt. I know, honey, but die in peace. That's a garbage. They're willing to do that to their own daughters. They will do it to yours without any doubt. They're not human. When I say Muslim practice Sharia are not human, they're animals. They don't belong to America. And if they're willing to do that small thing we're talking about here, they will do everything else. There's nothing to stop them for the next step, the third step.
So if there were not 2 men, so 1 man and 2 women of those among whom you are pleased for witnesses.
And that's amazing. They always give an excuse to everything they do. Oh, the Quran said to women, because women forget, because at the time women were uneducated. He said, of those whom you are pleased with, the best woman you got, 2 equal to 1 man. Tell this to any judge in America. We're going to go to court of law, and 2 women come to testify against you. I'm sorry, I need 1 man and 2 women. That's not fair. Excuse me? If you have a case, a murder case in America, and 2 women saw what happened, and they go to court of law, it is not acceptable. We need a man and 2 women. As a matter of fact, that is so garbage in the case of adultery. A woman is raped, and she must provide 4 eyewitnesses. Otherwise, she cannot accuse the man who raped her that he raped her. 3 eyewitnesses is not enough. You must have a 4. You know why? Because when Aisha was young, she committed adultery, according to Quran chapter 24, with a young man by the name of Safwan, and they found 3 witnesses that she did have sexual relationship with that man. That is Muhammad's favorite wife. And Muhammad stayed in his house for a whole week. He didn't go to the mosque. And then Allah sent Jibreel and told Muhammad, oh, she did not commit adultery. She's a faithful. And by the way, Muhammad, you have to have 4 eyewitnesses. Garbage. That Sharia does not fit with our constitution. It will never work in America, and it's here to destroy our constitution. And the liberals do not have any problem to have Muslims in their court as judges. And the liberal wicked judges, that like this guy in Michigan, will allow Muslims to do anything. After all, it is their way of life.
Women are to receive just 1/2 the inheritance of a male.
Allah commands you concerning your children, to the male, the like portion of 2 females.
What kind of justice is that? In a culture, now we're talking about the culture, and Sharia does not allow women to work. She will be abused by her husband, whoever that husband is, and she will take the beating, the light beating we talked about earlier, and live. What are you going to do? How are you going to live in a society when you don't even inherit enough from your father when he passed away?
Islam is superior to every other culture, faith, government, and society, as it is ordained by Allah to conquer and dominate them.
Oh, now I know that Muslims are loving and peaceful. And Islam is a loving, peaceful religion, and there's nothing wrong with Sharia. It fits perfectly with our constitution, is it? That's the word of Allah, 385.
And whoever desires any other religion except Islam, so it will not be accepted from him. And in the hereafter, he will be of the losers.
So believe it or not, when Muslims in America will have the upper hand, and you go say, I'm a Christian, I'm sorry, it does not work. Islam. Not only it's not accepted in this world, when you die according to Islam, you burn in hell forever. Because every loser will spend eternity in hell.
Anti-Semitism is intrinsic to Sharia and is based on the genocidal behavior of Muhammad himself in wiping out the entire Jewish population of the Arabian Peninsula.
Remember that I told you earlier in the beginning of our study? Quran chapter 1 verse 5, and Muslim pray to Allah and say what? Guide us to the straight way. Now which way? Listen, this is the first chapter of the Quran. And you wonder why Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib hate Israel and America. You wonder why? Because that's how they are grown up to be. They grew to grow up to hate the Jews and the Christians. Guide us to the straight way.
The way of those whom you have graced, the Muslims, not those whom the wrath is against, the Jews, nor the lost ones, the Christians.
You know, Ilhan Omar prayed that 5 times a day. She repeats this word 13 times every time she prayed. And so is every Muslim in America. They know that the wrath of Allah is against the Jews and every Christian is a lost. And once again, when you're a loser, when you're lost, you go to hell forever. Taqiyya. Very important doctrine in Islam. Why do we have in America good Muslim doctors and good Muslim engineers and good Muslim taxi drivers and good Muslim neighbors? You know why? One of the two. These good Muslims do not know Islam or they're practicing taqiyya. What is taqiyya?
It is permissible for a Muslim to lie, especially to non-Muslims, to safeguard himself personally or to protect Islam.
Yes, indeed. That's what taqiyya is all about. Quran chapter 3 verse 28. Listen to the word of Allah.
Believers do not take the infidels for friends, rather than the believers. And whoever does this, so he has nothing to do with Allah, except that you should guard yourself from them cautiously. And Allah himself warns you, and to Allah is the final return.
The command of Allah is for Muslim believers. Never to take an American for friends, because Americans are a bunch of Christians and a bunch of Jews who are nothing but infidels. Read Quran 572, 573, 931. Okay? You don't take the infidels for friends rather than the believers. If you do that, you lose the protection of Allah. And here is the exception. Except, what is the exception? That you can take them as friends. That you should protect or you guard yourself from them cautiously. To guard yourself or to protect yourself from the infidels is the practice of taqiyya. That means, I will tell you with my lips, I love you, you are my neighbors, but my heart will have all the hatred against you. Here we go, not my opinion. Al-Jalalain. If you are afraid of them, who are the infidels, you can take them as friends with your tongue, not your heart. Bil-lisan, dun al-qalb. وَهَذَا قَبْلَ عِزَّةِ الإسلام. And that is before the strength or the might of Islam. And this can be practiced to whoever live in a country is not strong in it. Muslim at USA. If you are not strong in a foreign country, and you live among a bunch of garbage infidels, Christians and Jews, you can take them as friends with your tongue, not with your heart. I love you. You are the best neighbor I ever have. You are the best customer I ever have. You are the best patient I ever have. Yeah. We were somewhere in the West, me and Brandon, and we went to the gas station. Actually, Brandon went before me. He went to the gas station, and he filled his tank. Oh, Usama, you need to come to fill your tank here, man. That guy is a good guy. He offers coffee and Coca-Cola. After he fills the tank, and we're going to wait on you at the gas station. I said, good. That was in the beginning of our traveling, me and Brandon's house, years ago. So I went to the same gas station. Brandon took us aside, and I'm in the gas station, filled my tank, went inside. I look at the guy. He looked Iranian to me. He was a Muslim from Iran. So I said, Assalamu alaikum. And he said, Wa alaikum assalam. And I spoke to him in Arabic. He did not answer me. That's how I know for sure he's Iranian, because they speak Farsi there, but they don't speak Arabic. And then I said, so what's going on? He said, hey, we're about to have the nuclear bomb. And he said, we're going to nuke Israel out of the face of the earth, and we're going to take over America, and we're going to kill all the infidels. That is the same guy, Brandon House, is bragging about how nice he is, offering him Coca-Cola and coffee for him and his wife and his daughter, his son. I got hundreds of stories like that. If we have time, we can share, but not tonight. But trust me, it's all over America. All over America. All right, let's move on. Slander, blasphemy, we talked about that in the video.
Slander means anything that might offend a Muslim, even if it is true.
So for me to tell a Muslim, your Muhammad is a child molester, 51 years old, married to a 6-year-old child, involves her sexually, fully, intercourse at the age of 9 or 8 or 9, they don't know, that is make Muhammad a sick man, a sick in the head, a pedophilia, okay? To say that, now you slander. And the punishment of slander, once again, is death. For you to say something wrong with Muhammad, that means we must kill you. Now, in America, we do have, like we did tonight, we stand up, you put your hand on your heart, you raise your hand, face the flag of the United States of America, and you say, and I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Muslims have pledged too. Are you interested? Here it is.
Allah is our goal. The Messenger is our model. The Quran is our constitution. Jihad is our means. Martyrdom in the way of Allah is our inspiration.
How do you like to have those as neighbors? How do you like to have those as Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, and the rest who are yet to come to take offices all over our representative seats all over this country? They're here. They're not going anywhere. The number will continue to grow. 100 today, 200 tomorrow, 1,000 after that. As more they put people to run for office, the more people will win, the greater the chance for the Muslim to take over America. Oh, Usama, this will never happen in America. Maybe you can learn from the stupid French. Maybe you can learn from the stupid British. Maybe you can learn from the stupid German and the stupid Italian. Don't be stupid enough not to listen to me. Years ago, I used to tell the American people, learn from what happened in Egypt. Now, I don't even talk about Egypt anymore. Learn from what's happening in your own home countries in Europe. Make a trip to Europe. And watch how the Christians are living in Europe. They're persecuted by the dumb liberal Democrat, and the Muslims are persecuting all of them. And you know, I cannot imagine the Muslims are terrorizing the Jews and the Christian and everybody there. And the liberals in Europe will tell the Christian, you need to shut up. Because of what you're doing, look what's happening to us. Don't say a word against the Muslims. They're all cowering up. That's exactly what's happening. Now, there are some Muslims, once again, like CARE, who oppose Sharia. Why? I struggled with that for a long time until I got to this very important piece of information from a guy by the name Mustafa Saeed, who used to be a member in the Muslim Brotherhood in Florida, my home state. So, listen carefully to what he said.
The Muslim Brotherhood and their organizations in the U.S. are dedicated to a process of settlement they term as a civilization jihadist process, describing, Brotherhood members emphasize that they follow the laws of the nations in which they operate. They stress that they do not believe in overthrowing the U.S. government, but rather that they want as many people as possible to convert to Islam.
They're not here to practice Sharia. They love our Constitution. Their heart desire is to have a lot of Americans become Muslims. You know why? So we can practice Sharia. Remember the video? The guy said, maybe not now, maybe in the future. That's exact. They are not stupid. You are, as a nation, as an American, are stupid. Muslims are very smart. I hate to say it that way, but I don't know how to sugarcoat my thought. Some people hate me for saying American people are stupid. No, if you are not stupid, who do you think you are? Smart? How in the world are you going to have a lady who's supposed to serve 18 years in prison to win in 41 days? She's going to be your congresswoman for another 2 years. Who knows? Maybe someday she'll be a senator. Who knows? Maybe someday she'll be a Supreme Justice. Who knows? She should be in prison, not in jail. In prison. Her name is not Ilhan Omar. I signed in my paperwork when I came to Egypt, fill all my information, and I signed. And the officer explained to me at the Cairo embassy, if I lie in any of this information, I will be arrested and thrown out of America. Yes, sir. Everything I put is true. What's her name? Ilhan Omar. Who make a bet her name is not Ilhan Omar? 78% of the Muslim Somali who are here in that state right now as refugees are in fraudulent paperwork. They're all liars. They're not who said who they are. I'm not saying 50-50, 78%. And you're going to get more and more. And I'm not, you know what, if you want to load your state with Muslim refugees from Somalia, from Nigeria, and from whatever country, it's fine. But the problem is, they moved thousands of them to my state, Florida, in Northport City, Florida. So they come to, because Florida will not allow them to go there. So they go to the dumb governor of Minnesota, and then smoothly, they move 1,000 to Florida, 1,000 to Georgia, 1,000 to Mississippi, 1,000, and keep moving. It's just a door to destroy America, you idiots. No, you don't have to come to America in 50 states, just one state. That's all. If I can come to your state, who will stop me after becoming a citizen in Minnesota to go to any state of the other 49? Can you give me one reason? Why? I'm a citizen. I'm an American.
So that one day, perhaps generations from now, a majority of Americans will support a society governed by Islamic law. He, Mustafa Saeed, a Floridian who left the U.S. Brotherhood in 1998, says he found out
more Muslim in America, they practice Sharia, Islamic law in America. That's exactly what I said. Listen to what Mustafa Saeed found out.
That the U.S. Brotherhood had a plan for achieving Islamic rule in America. It would convert Americans to Islam and elect like-minded Muslims to political office.
Is this happening in your state? And it's so amazing. I've been talking about that now for what? 18, 19 years? And people laugh at me. Usama, we will never have Muslim senators in America. We will never have Muslim congressmen in America. We will never have Muslim president in America. I say, yes, indeed. It is all deception. Allah is the best deceiver. Muslim follow Allah. Watch my video online. Allah is Satan, Jesus is God. It's a wonderful debate I had with 3 Muslim imams. Praise God, the top of these 3 imams now is a Christian because of that debate. His name is Dawood Salama. Go watch. Allah is Satan, Jesus is God. It's a very powerful debate. All right. Anyway, there are 3 main goals for Muslim to Muslimize the world or global Islamization of the world. Number 1, listen carefully.
Muslim refusal to assimilate into the melting pot of any Western host country.
I'm so thankful for Linda Sarsour last year when she said, we will never assimilate with the Americans. Good. Thank you. Here we go. Number 2.
Muslim establishment of Sharia zones in areas where Muslims deny the law of the host country.
Believe it or not, you're living in a city, will be doing that very soon. Very soon. Just bring a little bit more Muslims in your city, and you will have that in Rochester, Minnesota, and many other places. Dearborn, Detroit, Orlando, Los Angeles, and I can name you a good 50 cities easy in America. We're going to have this soon in America. Next one.
Muslims' insistence the host country accommodate Sharia due to principles of religious freedom.
Once again, because they're using Amendment 1 for our own destruction, because we're ignorant of Amendment 1 or ignorant of Amendment 1 and Islam. Nonsense Sharia. In 9.5. This is supposed to be a comedy time here for you to laugh and to relax before we get to the next session, okay? Here we go.
The minimal duration of a pregnancy from which a live child is born is 6 months, while the maximum is 4 years.
Come on, laugh. Pretend you understand. In Islam, a mama can have a baby in 6 months and the baby will come out healthy. Or she can have a baby and the baby inside her for 4 years. By the way, Muhammad Daddy, listen carefully, Muhammad Daddy, Abdullah, died 3 years before Muhammad was born. Because Muhammad Mama Amna was pregnant by Muhammad in her belly for 3 years or 3 plus. Because Islam, the Sharia, that book teaches that. Open the page, 9.5, please. If somebody think I'm making it up, open the book and read. Okay? Now, here's another funny one.
Wherever there is less than 6 months between 2 births, the babies are considered twins.
I was scared our young lady said, don't you dare ever marry a Muslim man. You marry a Muslim man, you'll be pregnant for 4 years. Ask your mama how painful it is 9 months, okay? 4 years. So, think about it. Sharia finance. I told you earlier about Sharia finance. So, Imam Sheikh Yusuf al-Qaradawi, and here is the truth about Sharia finance. I don't know if we're going to play the video or not, but let's see here.
Hi, I'm Joy Brighton. As a former Wall Street trader, an investment professor, a Democrat, and an American concerned for my country and way of life, I'm here to break the silence and tell you about more greed and negligence on Wall Street and in Washington. It's called Sharia Islamic finance, the newest and fastest growing financial market in the world. And oh yes, Wall Street is on board big time. So you ask, what is Sharia finance? Though Wall Street is focused on the money side of Sharia finance.
I'll stop here. I'll tell you quickly because it's a long video to save time. The rich from Saudi and Bahrain and all these rich country, Dubai or whatever, they came to America with millions, but actually sometimes billions to invest. They went to Wall Street and they talked to the people on Wall Street. They said, sure, we would love to invest your money here. They said, wait a minute, we're Muslims. We don't believe on investing our money in anything forbidden according to Sharia. So you're going to take our money and invest it, but you cannot invest it in pornography, alcohol, pork meat, all this displeasing to Allah. And the guy on Wall Street said, absolutely. How about cars? How about homes? How about banks? How about all other bits? Sure, you can do that. Wait a minute. We as Muslims also believe in giving back to Allah. We are very charitable people. We love to give charity to God. Okay, so what do you want to do? He said, we'll take 2.5% of every profit we make. You put your money in Wall Street, you may lose it, okay? But so far they're doing good. 2.5% of that money, and we will give it to charity of our own choice. And the guys in Wall Street absolutely can do that. Christians give 10%. They call it tithes. But here's the catch. We will not tell you where we're spending the money, because it has to be given in secret between us and Allah. Our right hand will not know what our left hand is doing. No problem, they made a deal. So now we got in America Sharia finance, and it's growing beyond imagination. I told you earlier there are two types of jihad: jihad of money and jihad of life. Listen.
March forth lightly or heavily, and perform jihad, or holy war, with your money and your lives for the sake of Allah. This is best for you, if you were knowing.
Yes, Muslim can spend money for the sake of Allah, or go and fight for the sake of Allah. Sharia, I actually have a video, I lost a video for some reason, a video of the 30 Muslim, over 100 bankers and business in America. Yes, but you have a question for me.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to contribute that Wells Fargo in Minnesota was one of the first institutions to initiate Sharia banking and finance in Minnesota. And one of our big realtors, Edina Realty, has a special office for preferred Ijara professionals.
Yeah.
And Hasif Malik heads up that office. So many Minnesota banks will have a specific loan officer who handles the people coming from overseas who want to invest. Maybe they have oil money from Abu Dhabi, Dubai, or Bahrain, or any of the other Islamic nations, and they channel these funds into
it is unbelievable how big it is. Just think about it. The biggest bank in America. I went to my bank, Bank of America in Florida, and I asked the manager. So I want to meet the manager. I said, sir, do you practice Sharia finance? He said, Sharia finance? What's Sharia finance? I said, you don't know what Sharia finance? He said, no. I said, well, here's my card. I am a customer here, and I want you to call me if you do practice Sharia finance. If I don't hear from you, that means you do, and I will close my account with you. I never heard from him. He knows it. They're lying. Big businesses. I mean, think about drinking Coca-Cola, for heaven's sake. I mean, who does not drink Coca-Cola in America? Lots of business. Go online and look for Sharia finance, businesses, banks, insurances. AIG, it's a big one. You know, AIG, it's one of the biggest you have in America. They practice Sharia finance. Imam al-Qaradawi, that guy received millions of dollars from America alone. Millions. They don't need to collect funds from the Muslim world for the movement of the Brotherhood. They get it from us here in America. They got more than enough. Now, is it Sharia or is it culture? When you look at a lady like that, I told you about earlier, hijab. Is this culture or is that Islam? Okay, Muslim would do it's culture, but in reality it's actually Islam. Listen to the word of Allah.
O you prophet, say to your wives and to your daughters and the women of the believers, let down their covering over them, that in this way they will be known, so they will not be harmed. And Allah was forgiving, merciful.
When Judge Jeanine read that verse on her Sunday night show, she actually were taken off air for 2 weeks. How dare Judge Jeanine on Fox News to read a verse from the Quran? I wish I was there to interpret the verse for her audience. Because the verse always said just let down their covering over them. You know what the real interpretation for hijab? The real hijab goes like this. Listen carefully. This is not my opinion. That's Ibn Abbas, the cousin of Muhammad.
Ibn Abbas said, Allah orders the women of the believers, if they go out of their homes for some needs, that they must cover their faces from above their heads with dresses by showing one eye.
One eye, sweethearts. One eye. Now, which eye? Is it the right eye or is it the left eye? Well, don't worry. We got the answer also in the saying of Muhammad. Here we go. Listen carefully.
Muhammad, son of Sirin, asked Ubaidah al-Samani concerning the saying of Allah, let down their covering over them. So he covers his head and shows his left eye.
Why is that? Because the left eye in Islam is a weak eye, and that is the best thing a woman, the only option for a woman have to be able to see where they're walking. Their weak eye, not the strong eye, and it's dumb. My left eye is so bad. I have already 3 surgeries. I need to do 1 more in my left eye. I can see with this eye 20/20. I have no idea what I have here right now. So the idea is left eye is weak, is dumb. So this is, continue with the hadith. Why do you think this was given into Sharia? Why Muslim women have to cover their faces completely and they only show the left eye? Listen.
In the Al-Sani interpretation for this verse, he said, some of the wicked people of the city of Medina come out at night when it gets dark in the roads, and they harass the females. The roads of the city of Medina were narrow, so when the night comes, women go on the road that they may go to relieve themselves. So these wicked people molest them. So if they saw the women have the head covering, they said, she is a free woman. So they left her alone. And if they saw that she was not wearing the head covering, they said, this is a slave. So they sexually assault her.
So the good Muslim in Medina, in Muhammad days, were molesting the females, and if they're covered with hijabs, they protect themselves, so that they will not be harmed, as we read in other verses of the Quran. Why they let down their cover over them? So they will not be molested, Allah said. That's why Judge Jeanine said the word molested, and they got mad at her. That's what the verse said. Now you think, okay, girls who are not covering hijab, they will be assaulted by the Muslim men. Will you think it's okay for the good Muslim men to allow the slaves to be covered so they will not be assaulted by the bad Muslim dudes? Listen to what happened with the successor of Muhammad. His name is Omar.
It was Omar, Allah is pleased with him, if he saw a slave covered in hijab, that he beat her to protect the custom of the free woman.
They don't want the Muslim men to molest the good Muslim ladies, and they don't want to leave the Muslim men without some women to assault. So they will not allow the slaves to cover themselves with hijab. They beat them physically, don't you dare, so they can leave some customer, some girls, for the guys who would like to molest them. Don't you love Islam? Morality in Islam, the beauty of Islam, the garbage of Allah and Muhammad and Omar. I was speaking Dearborn, Michigan. We'd have a rally there to speak against Sharia. And literally, 2 ladies came to me after the meeting. They said, well, that's why we don't like Sharia law, because it's barbaric. It has nothing to do with Islam. I said, what do you mean it has nothing to do with Islam? She said, think about it. They cut the hand of the thief. I said, you don't think that's Islam? Of course not. This has nothing to do with Islam. I said, do you have a Quran on you? Sure, I have a Quran. She have a Quran on her phone. I said, go to Quran chapter 5 and verse 38 and read to me what Allah said there. Here we go, listen.
And the male thief and the female thief, so cut off their hands a reward of what they earned. as a punishment from Allah, and Allah is dear
wise. So it is actually the word of Allah orders the Muslim believer to cut the hand of the thief. And then, if you read this alone, that's garbage. Now, let me give you a little bit more trash over the garbage, okay? We're going to read the interpretation of Muslim scholars. How much do you think a thief will steal that he will lose his hand? $500? $100? $10? $1? Well, you know what? Let's read what Muslim scholars said about that issue. Here we go.
Abi Hurairah said that the Messenger of Allah said, Allah cursed the thief who steals an egg, so his hand must be cut off, and the one who steals the rope, so his hand must be cut off.
How much do you think the egg cost in Muhammad days? Why do you think somebody will steal an egg? Maybe he's what?
Hungry.
It's not like he's going to steal an egg to go sell it at Walmart. It's stupid. It will take you 12 tries to make a dozen to go sell it for $2. No, you steal an egg because you're hungry. And Allah said what? Allah cursed those people and they must lose their hands for stealing an egg. I think I can go for 10 cents. Okay? Okay? Let's move on. Another thing. Here we go. Listen carefully. Listen.
Imam Malik, son of Anas, Allah's mercy be on him, the thief who steals 3 dirham, if he stole it or if he stole what is equal to that in value, his hand must be cut off.
3 pennies! Let me give you a better another. I'm telling you, these are, by the way, these are the different philosophical Islamic schools, which the guy was talking about earlier. You know, in his Islamic philosophical school, you practice the law of the land you live in. Here's the laws of different philosophical schools. That's how garbage the Shia, the Shafi'i, and what did before this one? This one is Shafi'i. This one is Ibn Anas, Ibn Malik. The one before that, Abu Hurairah himself, the greatest guy who talked from Muhammad.
Al-Shafi, Allah's mercy be on him, stated, the cutting off of the hand of the thief with a quarter of dinar or what is equal to it in value.
Here we got to 25 cents. See, these are the different schools. You steal an egg, we cut your hand. 3 dirham, we cut your hand. A quarter, we cut your hand. Why is it people did not say, just live by the law of the land you live in, like the laws of America? They don't. That's a lie. Halal food. Quickly, we're running out of time. Halal food is all over America now. As a matter of fact, Campbell's does soup, halal soup. And why is that? Let's skip the verse. You know what? I'm going to, for the sake of time, okay? It is what I'm going to tell you here, that actually every verse in the Quran said it is forbidden, it's actually also allowed. Even the verses which Allah said, you know what? I'll go back. You know me. You think I make it up. Okay? Here we go. Here we go. Listen to this.
Surely unlawful to you is the dead and the blood and the swine meat and that which has been slain to other than Allah. So whoever is compelled without desiring nor returning, so surely Allah is forgiving, merciful.
Allah said, you cannot eat swan meat. You cannot eat animals die by itself or strangled, okay? But if you are compelled, it's okay. So there is nothing forbidden in Islam. So if a Muslim in your state here tell you, we have to have halal food, say, excuse me, that is the only thing is available, and you eat it. Because Allah said it's okay. See what I'm saying? So it's the same verses which forbid the Muslim from eating pork or strangled or blood, they can. If that's all what the infants are going to offer you in jail, in prison, in school, or whatever is serving in this country. You got the idea? All right, here we go. Halal Burger King. Halal Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's in America. I'm not talking about overseas in Saudi Arabia or Egypt. Halal McDonald's. Of course, it just starts in a big city. Detroit, Dearborn, this town here soon. Anyway. We have halal Subway. You see this halal. Halal. H-A-L-A-L. This marker here, it will be on every item in America. If you go buy a car, it has the word halal. If you go buy a furniture, you think I'm joking? On your phone right now, look for halal coffee. You should look it up. I'm lying to you. We don't have halal coffee because it doesn't make any sense. How can coffee be halal? It does not blood in it. What is halal? You get a butcher, a Muslim butcher, who holds the chicken and he say, in the name of Allah, the merciful, the merciful. But in Arabic, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and cut her head off. Now the chicken is halal. So is cow. So is everything. It is a Muslim prayer offered in the Arabic language over the dead animals. How can you make halal coffee? You kill the coffee? You cut one coffee at a time, seeds? People say, why do you make big deal about halal food? Let the people eat whatever they want. It's America. I said, because you're ignorant of the Quran, I have to teach you that if we allow Muslims today to eat halal meat, tomorrow they will be killing your children. You know why? Listen to the word of Allah.
Engage in war with those who do not believe in Allah and in the last day, and do not forbid what Allah and His Messenger forbid.
If you do not believe in Allah or the last day, if you do not forbid what Allah and His Messenger forbid, we have to engage in war with you. Allah forbid the eating of pork. You guys want to eat pork. I'm sorry. I have to go in war against you. I'm going to kill you. I'm not going to kill all of you. I'm only going to kill the men because the women and the daughters will keep ourselves to enjoy to have Muslim babies. 47:35.
So do not be weak and do not call for peace when you have the upper hand.
Muslims today in America do not have the upper hand. They are loving, they are peaceful people. Wait until they have the upper hand. Well, upper hand in Islam is not 51%. I guessed it around 5.5%. Why is that? Because I saw it happening all over Europe. Whenever a country in Europe reached up to 5.5%, it was too late. You don't reverse it. It's too late. And by the way, Muslims multiply their number every 10 years. How many Muslims do we have in America today? Oh, Muslim will tell you 1%, 4.3 million, okay? I'm sorry, there are more than 5 million Muslims in America illegal. We don't even count them. As a matter of fact, I challenge any of your Republicans or Democrats in this country to use the word Muslim and the word illegal in the same sentence. I'll challenge it. Prove me wrong. Find me a congressman or a senator or a governor or even your Trump. If he would say illegal Muslim in one sentence, I will be shocked. I'll be shocked. How many illegal Muslims have in America? 5 million. As a matter of fact, I can tell you we have 10 million. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Count it. Talk about it.
Their votes will be counted soon.
Sure. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
More than once.
Yeah, exactly. If you have 2-3 chances, you will. That is illegal Muslim. How many Muslims are in America? Nobody knows. I know we have 4 or 5 million black Muslim, Nation of Islam, who are not Muslim at all. Nation of Islam. I'm guessing we got 15 million, maybe 20. So we have 15 million. So we have 10 million. In 10 years, the 10 will be 20. In 20 years, the 20 will become 40. In 30 years, the 40 will become 80. In 40 years, we have 160 million Muslims in America. That is if you will continue to have Trump in the White House the next 40 years. Which means what? No Democrat will ever touch the White House. Which means what? We're not going to bring Muslims to America like the liberals did in Germany and in France and in all the European countries. Marco, whatever her last name is, Marco, in Germany, Paula Marco, whatever her name was, the Prime Minister of Germany, whatever her name, I can't remember her name. Angela Merkel. She actually brought to Germany 2.3 million people in one term. You can put 3 Germany or 3.5 Germany in Texas. Imagine with me, we'll have Joe Biden in the White House, and he is going to stop the ban of Muslims, from the Muslim world of America, which means everybody can come to America with or without any paperwork, and he will bring to every state 1 million. I'm not going to say he's going to bring to every state 2 million. Just 1 million for every state. As a matter of fact, you can get these 50 million Muslims out of Egypt alone. You don't have to go to the rest of the 56 Muslim country. Go to Egypt, say, hey, we allowed some Muslim to come to America. How many you need? 50 million. I promise you, in less than a year, there will be 50 million Muslims leaving Egypt coming to America. Especially if they know that you're buying the flight. They would love to come here to be slaves, as a matter of fact. So we got 50 million Muslims in America in one term of Mr. Biden. Let's do it again. In 10 years, there'll be 100 million. In 20 years, there'll be 200 million. In 30 years, there'll be 400 million. America will not last the first 10 years, trust me. As a matter of fact, America will not last the next 4 years if Biden become your president. That'll be enough to kiss your country goodbye. The interpretation of that verse, not mine, Ibn Kathir. Do not be weak of fighting the enemies. Do not cause them to peace. They skip this all. In the case of your strength, and when you have large number of weapon and people, you have large number of weapon and people, don't stop fighting. Now, if the infidels have strength and large number, he meant weapon and people, you can do exactly as the messenger of Allah Muhammad did with the infidel of Quraysh. He made an agreement to have peace with them for 10 years. Muhammad made a contract of peace, covenant of peace. He will not go in war with the infidels of Quraysh for 10 years. How many years do you think this covenant lasts? I believe 3 years or so. Why? Because you go to Quran chapter 9 verse 1, where Allah said, Allah and His Messenger Muhammad are innocent, are free from the obligation which He have made with the infidels of Quraysh. Quran chapter 9 verse 5, run for your life. When the 4 forbidden months are passed, kill the polytheists wherever you find them, and besiege them, and lay wait with them with every kind of ambush. But if they repent, that convert to Islam, and give the legal alms, and pray, leaves the way free. So the Muslims are going to be making all covenant of peace with us. Like right now, we got a covenant of peace between Bahrain and United Arab Emirates with Israel. You know why? Because they need our help. They need our protection. From who? From Iran. In Islam, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. I'm not going to be surprised sometime next month we're going to have at least 4 or 5 other Muslim countries from the Saudi Arabia Peninsula land there who will make the same covenant of peace with Israel. If Joe Biden won, you can kiss all this covenant of peace goodbye. You know why? Because Joe Biden is going to turn his back against Israel, and these countries are not going to be protected by America. And that'll bring us to the end of time. We'll stop here. Can I go for a little bit more? What's the story here? You guys are tired, sleep. I look at you and you feel like I need to go sleep. You're going to leave here in half hour, you're going to be in your bed. I still have 5 hours to drive tonight. Okay? Can we go a little bit longer or that's enough?
Go a little bit longer.
A little bit longer. Yeah. Be nice to me. I love you guys. And I'm so humble, so let's do it. Watch this video together. Let's listen.
How does this politically correct response in the face of mortal danger affect men and women like yourself?
I can say that I know that certainly in the last 8 months, as I mentioned, with the increase of attacks and thwarted, that many of which have been thwarted, obviously not all, the people who understand the nature of the threat and who understand who the Muslim Brotherhood is, and then watch an attack, and then watch Hamas officials, for instance, from CARE and the Muslim Public Affairs Council, on CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, major networks, it is incredibly demoralizing for the people who actually understand the threat. But as long as they continue to deal with Muslim Brotherhood people, the majority of people in the FBI and DHS will never get to the truth. The fact that in 2010 there is not mandatory counterterrorism training in the FBI for counterterrorism agents and analysts that discusses in detail the Muslim Brotherhood and Islamic doctrine that supports what they're doing seems to be quite outrageous.
You know who ended this training? Barack Hussein Obama. 2010. It was there until 2008. You got your Obama, kids are training goodbye. As a matter of fact, he exchanged it for sensitive training. You know what the sensitive training is? When you talk to some Muslims, you have to put distance between you and them. Don't touch them. If they ask for a Quran, you give them by the gloves, white gloves in your hand. Don't you dare give them the Quran by your left hand. You have to by your right hand, left hand, respectfully, and give them the Quran. If they ask for bread rugs, give them bread rugs. Halal food, you serve them halal food. The month of Ramadan, you serve the food during the night. At the right time for the Muslim for their fasting. It was ugly, the garbage of any training you can even imagine. That is exactly what Mr. By the way, during Obama and Eric Holder, when Nidal Malik Hassan, the Fort Hood shooter, refused to shave his beard, guess what he did? They changed the law in our in our military. You can serve in a hijab as a lady or a beard as a Muslim man. Does anybody know anything about that? And until today, the Democrats tell me Obama was a Christian man.
Every now and then, we hear stories about these remote Muslim training camps that are providing firearms and paramilitary training. And every now and then, you see a video of masked men kind of marching through the forest, like American forests, carrying AK-47s, they're jumping over logs, and they're firing downrange and using cover to advance and all that stuff. And most Americans kind of reluctantly think that, well, that's their First Amendment right, or it's their Second Amendment right, or whatever. However, some of us look at this, and we know exactly what's going on here. Some of us with imaginations can imagine a day when these terror cells are activated and they march down out of the forest and they go to the shopping malls or elementary schools and start shooting for real. Do you think that's a possibility?
Well, it's not a possibility. It's what they're doing. Information developed from informants, as well as wiretaps and other techniques, that these groups are here in the United States to be the focal point when the jihad here kicks off in a grander scale. They've been captured on conversation saying that. We have informant information. We have witness testimony. So when they are doing this training, firearms training, killing and kidnapping technique training, and all the various techniques that they're doing, as well as hand-to-hand combat, in furtherance of preparing for jihad against the United States, that is a violation of federal law to conspire to overthrow and wage war against the United States.
How is the political leadership of this country going to explain to the American people that if this day ever comes, God forbid it ever comes, but if this day ever comes, when thousands and thousands and thousands of heavily armed killers come down out of these camps that we've known about for 20 years and start shooting up malls and schools and everything else, how in God's name are they going to explain this to the American people?
I have no idea. I can't imagine.
You may think, by the way, this video I had used for the last, 8-9 years or so. You may think that's a new information. This has been known from the early days of Obama. And he did nothing about it. Nothing.
Usama, remember the training camps they found were actually bulldozed during the night. Nobody really knows why. All the evidence was destroyed.
I was near one in North Carolina. That's the only one I've been in. I could not believe my eyes. I spoke in a church there, and the brother said, let's take you to one of these camps to show you. It is in America. It is all over America. As a matter of fact, when I talked about it, there were 38 camps. You know what it is this? This is exactly, it is, we are so ignorant, so stupid about Islam, and we allow the Muslims to do whatever you want. Right now, I can buy, as a matter of fact, if you think about it, the Saudi are buying Arizona. The entire land of Arizona is bought. As a matter of fact, farmers are complaining because they buy thousands and thousands of acres, and they put well to get water, they pump oil for water, what do you call this, pipe for water, wells, and the water is, so the level of the water is going down, going down, going down, and the farmers are complaining, and nobody talk about it. And they plant this hay all over Arizona, and they cut the hay, and they send it to Saudi Arabia. It is their land. I can buy, I bought 43 acres in Missouri, where I have my new home there. I can buy 1,000 acres. I can buy 10,000 acres. There's no law in America that said you cannot buy land. In Saudi Arabia, you cannot buy a house. You cannot buy a shop to start a business. You can only rent if they allow it. But you cannot buy. Same thing in Kuwait. Same thing in Indonesia. All the Muslim countries you cannot. I've been to Indonesia twice. And I was shocked that the Christian in Indonesia rent their homes. You cannot buy it. Foreigners are not allowed. Okay, that's how sick it is. Christian in Indonesia, if you're a foreigner, you can rent, but you cannot buy. If I buy 10,000 acres, and all I need is go to some store and buy this small tiny sign, no trespass. You know what that means? None of the American policemen or any military, whatever it is, can come. You're trespassing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to build homes for Muslims only. We're going to practice whatever law we want. Like what? Like Sharia. How are you going to stop it? You don't see there's anything wrong for having Muslims in America. Your government are protecting the Muslims in America and bringing Muslims to America in the thousands, hundreds of thousands, and in millions. When they get the 5.5%, America will suffer severely, and that's the end of time. Not only the Christian of America will suffer, the conservative of America will suffer, the Democrat in America will suffer, but the whole world will be chaos. If America falls, Muslim state is accomplished. They tried it with ISIS, it did fail. They tried it with Al-Qaeda before we did fail. The Muslim Brotherhood are trying to fail. Why? Because America is here. But if America is gone, you can kiss everything else we have goodbye. How many of you have read the memorandum, the strategic goal for Muslim and Muslim Brotherhood? You're familiar with that. So, go online and read it. Download it. You'll be shocked. Let me just cover for you a couple slides here, because I believe they're important.
We must understand that our work in America is a kind of grand jihad in eliminating and destroying the Western civilization from within and, quote, sabotaging, unquote, it so that it is eliminated and Islam is made victorious. It is a Muslim's destiny to perform jihad.
Can you imagine? This is what is written by the hand of a certain jihadi Muslim organization in America. Like CARE, the one I talked about today, ISNA, MSA, Muslim Student Association, which, by the way, if you will be listening to my radio broadcast on VCY, maybe in a month from now, when we finish with Islamophobia and the 2020 election, I'm going to be playing my presentation, United We Fall. In this one, I will share with you the greatest, stupidest thing ever happened in my life. The president of the Southern Baptist Convention, my church, I'm not talking about your churches, I'm a Southern Baptist guy. I can say whatever I want. His name is J.D. Greer, Pastor J.D. Greer from North Carolina, having an interview or dialogue with Imam Omar Stayman, who speaks on the behalf of the MSA, the Muslim Student Association, and how loving, peaceful this whole entire dialogue. It will make you sick in your stomach. This is a man who said that, sitting next to the Southern Baptist president and having hug and coffee and dinner. They're here in America to accomplish the ultimate goal, performing jihad, destroying America from within. Literally, get rid of the stupid civilization of America, of the West of America, and replace it with Sharia, Islamic law. And Imam Omar Stayman did a great job. Literally, that 76 or 67, what is the two number? I say 67, this goes on small number of the Christians who attended this dialogue left the meeting with good, positive attitude towards Islam and Muslim. I don't think, if you have not studied Islam, if you are not expert on the Quran, on Sharia, and this thing I'm talking about, don't even say hello to the Muslims. By the way, that's biblical. You go to 2 John, verses 7 to 11. You're not supposed to have them in your homes. You're not supposed to greet them and say hello to them.
For many deceivers have gone out into the world who do not confess Jesus Christ as coming in the flesh. This is a deceiver and an antichrist. If anyone comes to you and does not bring this doctrine, do not receive him into your house, nor greet him, for he who greets him shares in his evil deeds.
As the Muslims. Ask a Muslim, do you believe in Jesus to be the Son of God? No. Do you believe in God the Father? No. Do you believe in the Holy Spirit? No. As a matter of fact, Quran 5:72 is very clear. Infidel indeed are those who said, surely Allah is the Christ, Son of Mary. Quran chapter 5, verse 73, the following verse, infidel indeed are those who said, surely Allah is the third of three. If you believe Jesus, Son of Mary, Son of Virgin Mary is God, you're an infidel. If you believe in Trinity, you're an infidel. Quran 47:4. When you meet those who became infidels, the Christians, strike the necks until you have made a great slaughter among them. That's what Muslims believe. How in the world do you get them some guy who believes you're an infidel, who does not believe in the doctrine of Trinity, in your house? The Bible said, don't even greet them. Don't get into your houses. Don't greet them. You do whatever you want. Why Muslims want to build mosque in America? Oh, to worship. Yeah? Listen to this.
America, we can say we are marching successfully toward the settlement of Islam in this country. This mandates that we convert these into operation rooms for planning, direction, monitoring, and leadership for the Islamic Center. The first pioneer of this technique was our Prophet Muhammad, as he placed the foundation for the first civilized organization, which is the mosque, which truly became the comprehensive organization, leading Islam to establish organizations with all their kinds: economic, social, media, scouting, professional, and even the military ones.
In America,
We want to build a country of organizations. Let us raise the banner of truth. We want to establish the group of organizations, as without it we will not be able to put our feet on the true path. All we need is to tweak them, coordinate their work, collect their elements, and merge their efforts with the others, and then connect them with the comprehensive plan we seek. What is important is that we put the foundation, and we will be followed by the peoples and generations that would finish the march and the road.
And our president again tell us, here's what I'm going to do to you the next 4 years. Our congressmen and women, here's what I will do for you the next 2 years. Our senator, next 6 years. You know what Muslims do? Here's what we will do in the next 4 generations.
Yeah.
That's why he calls this long-term plan for the Muslim in North America. Long-term. What I cannot finish, my great-great-grandson for sure will finish.
The process of settlement is a civilization jihadist process with what all the word means. The Brotherhood must understand that their work in America is a kind of grand jihad in eliminating and destroying the Western civilization from within and sabotaging their miserable house by their hands and the hands of the believers, so that it is eliminated and Allah's religion is made victorious over all other religions.
I don't know how can liberals defend that. I don't know how can Christian leaders in America defend that. I don't know how Pastor J.D. Greer, the president of the Southern Baptist Convention, can defend that. I don't know how any person with logic, common sense, can tell me Muslims who believe in that welcome in America. We're going to make them our senators and our congressmen and women. We'll make them our mayors. We'll make them our governors. Sharia is a big problem. Sharia is not going anywhere. If the American people will continue to be ignorant of the topic of Islam or Sharia, for sure Muslims will take over this country. As a matter of fact, all what we're doing right now in America is literally giving them America. They don't ask for it. We're just giving it to them. I saw Nancy Pelosi stand up next to a Muslim senator, and she said, "Tell them you're a Muslim. Tell them you're a Muslim." What a sick woman. I think she lost her mind. It's not just Joe Biden lost his mind. She lost her mind too. They're all stupid. What do you mean tell them you're a Muslim? Tell them what you believe. You see, the problem is the American people saying, if he said he's a Muslim, they're going to love him. They're going to make him whatever he wants. No, tell them what you believe. I'm here to destroy you. I'm here to get rid of your garbage constitution and replace it with Sharia, Islamic law. Please have me as your senator. What American with logic, with common sense, will ever go vote for Joe Biden? A man is sad for the destruction of America. Trust me, I'm glad we're recording this. In November the 3rd, if Mr. Biden become your president, I will not have a ministry. For sure I will not have a ministry. I know there are Muslims wait for somebody like Biden to get in the White House. They're going to lock people like me up. As a matter of fact, you go to my website, it's not going to be there. Up to last week, YouTube take over my video out. That tweet, they take my straight out. I mean, they're fighting me right now. Oh, why? Because Muslims complain. Muslims know who I am. Lots of Christian Americans don't even have no clue who's Usama Dacdok. They don't even know my name. If they see me in the street, they know who I am. Muslims, not in America, Muslims in planet Earth know exactly who is Usama Dacdok. I am so famous to the Muslim world, not to the American. Google my name. Go on your phone and Google Usama. Don't put Dacdok, just put Usama. Guess what the first name is going to show up? Bin Laden. What's the next one? Dacdok. And Bin Laden is dead. Therefore, I am the top Usama. You know how many Usama in the world? Once again, Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. America will not stand strong. It will fall. Why? Because we're ignorant of Islam. My time is up. Okay. Thank you so much for allowing me to spend this actually 3.5 hours.